Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Pop Culture Gamers podcast. My name's Haydn. We're on show number 95, and I'm here with Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Steve. Hello, me. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. What's with you?
What's with me? No, I'm okay. It's nice to have a quiet day today. Been out walking the dog, doing a bit of computer work at home, listening to a bit of music, maybe a film or two. Well, nothing to talk about, but, just films we won't, things we watch, but we don't chat about, if you know what I mean. But more importantly, it's all about consoles. We've been away for a week, haven't we? And
big news all around.
It's like everything's just suddenly come out into the wild, and interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later on when we get to the gaming news. So anyway, you've been away for this last couple of weeks, haven't you? Been?
We had a week off. Me and Mrs. took away, drove 15 minutes down the road to a hotel. Because obviously we're quite close to the beach, so basically just to we had a few nights away, had some nice drink, food and wine, all sorts of stuff like that. Just chilled out, really. It was nice to do that, and just switch off from work for a week, and then I went back. So I've been back a week now, and as I said to you just a minute ago before we started recording, I'm going to try and book a week off in November. Wonder why?
Yeah, what's happening in November that we are aware of that's going on?
Oh, I don't know. We're going to talk about that later, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, how about yourself? What you've been up to? I'm going
to give a couple of updates actually, because first off, I haven't spoken to him for a few days, but Alan did say to me he's hopefully thinking about sometime in the new year going back to work, which I think is really positive. For him. So, we hope that you're feeling good there, Alan, and, still continuing to be on the mend. But also, I've also spoken to Nats.
Oh, okay.
And he's said he's feeling, quite a bit better. Sort of is quite amazing at the moment, which is really good news for him as well, because obviously, with the news that he announced with us before. So I've asked him if he would like to come back on the show and, just give everybody an update on his life and the universe and everything as, according to him.
I think a lot of people thought he wasn't with us anymore. It sounds a cruel thing to say.
Yeah.
But it's not, because people just hadn't heard, and, people had tried to text him and he couldn't, obviously, for whatever reason, he wasn't be able to reply. So people were sort of fearing the worst, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. But, a few people have messaged me saying, do you know how he is and this, that and the other. So I just thought it'd be nice, if he felt up to it to see if he wants to come back. And I think, he quite likes the idea of that, just see how he goes. So, hopefully we'll, get to hear him on the interweb, as it were, talking to us as well. So anyway, what have I been doing then? So back to work.
Shock horror, that must have been, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I had 2 weeks off, sorting out the house. Been doing a lot of, work in the house. Most of it is now decorated. There is only like the hallway and the landing to really do. I've been doing some of that today. But obviously, a lot of it's been like there's been wallpaper in every room, getting it stripped back down, and getting everything that you have to do in order to modernise a house. So today, for example, I've been putting on door handles because the ones that were on the doors were all like really old, really manky ones with several different colours of paint splashed all over them. That my mum and dad had the house painted in the past and all this, that and the other. So and we've only got a few more weeks to go because, in 3 weeks' time we get carpets in the house.
Okay.
So, actually less than 3 weeks. So it's not long at all. I've been working on the development of a video about raising awareness about hidden harm to children from different things like domestic abuse, mental health, exploitation, and various other things as part of a campaign that I'm running at work. So, been doing some filming with a colleague from the police, and be doing some more filming with some colleagues from health and children's social care very shortly as well. So hopefully we'll get the final product out soon. I'm looking forward to doing that because it's actually I've done it properly. I've actually wrote a script and everything, with directions and all of this, that, and the other. So I've really sort of like gone to town with it. But it is my camera work, so how that translates in actual practice, it might still look a bit Keystone Cop sort of view. But I hope, hope it'll be okay. And as you know, a couple of weeks ago, it was Record Day, wasn't it? Or about a month ago, was it? Something like that?
Give me 1 second, because I'm actually going to I want to talk about that as well. So August the 29th was Record Store Day, drop number 1.
Yes. Well, with drop number 1, there was HMV had the Umbrella Academy white
which
vinyl.
Is the new Netflix series, isn't it?
Yeah, a white vinyl one. With an exclusive 7-inch record with it as well. And unfortunately, I was a bit too slow to nab it, but they had to tell me when it comes back in stock, and it has.
Oh, okay.
So I've got it, and it's arrived. And I've still yet to play it. Unfortunately.
Really?
Well, it's just because I've been so busy, with Life of the Universe and everything that, you just don't get to, you just don't get the time, do you, these days? I don't know what it is.
No. So just to remind me, I picked up something on Amazon for Record Store Day, drop 1.
Yeah.
I picked up the album from the Sugar Hill Gang.
All right, okay.
Which some people may not know who they are, but there's a couple of their tracks out there that you might have heard of, probably heard it in movies and stuff like that. And even if I remember rightly, there was an advert. Do you remember there was an advert for a car where they had a ball bearing going through like a sort of a series of tricks to drop through things? Do you remember that? Quite a few years ago.
No, not really.
I'll show offline later. And they used a Sugar Hill Gang track for that because there's the track I was after was on the album, so I found that out.
Right.
But I don't know about you, but I popped into. Oh yeah, that's what I had done. I haven't told you, have I? No. I went to Specsavers last week.
Okay.
I'm butting in on. Do you have anything else you want to say before I even go into any of this?
No.
And then
No, it's fine.
Sure,
You go ahead.
So while I was away, I woke up one morning and I couldn't hear a thing.
So you went for glasses?
Sorry?
So you went for glasses?
No, yeah. I honestly couldn't hear diddly squat. I thought I was deaf. And it was basically the wax in my ears.
Right.
So I did look. We went, one of the days one of the places we visited, I was looking for a ear specialist for wax removal. Because the NHS don't really do it at the minute, which is a big problem. And I couldn't get a place there, but we were out and about. One day we walked down to where the harbour was. We was just had a nice Cornish pasty or whatever and just chilling out. And I went into a Specsavers and they said that they do ear wax removal. So I said, well, they said we can't do it here now because we have to. The guy comes in once a week and we have to pre-book and blah 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 blah. So I pre-booked it with my own Specsavers in where I live. So I went there Thursday last week. And have you ever had wax taken out of ears before back in the day?
No.
So the old school way, they used to make sure that you obviously probably a week before is to put drops in your ears to sort of make the wax a bit more pliable. And then what they used to do, get like a big syringe. And I'm not talking no poxy little syringe that you see on any sort of movie where they're taking drugs with it. I'm on about, it was probably as fat as a pint glass or just a bit smaller.
Yeah.
And used to boil some hot water and then they would put the syringe in your ear and then they would I would have to hold the kidney bowl underneath and then they would fire that hot water through the ear and it would then release the wax, which would fall out into the kidney bowl. Mm-hmm. So that's the old school way. But the way they do it now is on suction. And so I booked an appointment with Specsavers to release, get rid of my ear muck in my ears.
Yeah.
And the hardest part of this was I had to part with £55 to get it done. Horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, for both ears, that was, luckily. And yeah, so I had that done Thursday, and I actually I felt like I was in an echo of a room after it was done because everything was so loud. But yeah, I'm back to normal now with my hearing, and I don't have the music as loud as I did before because the missus always used to moan. So it's pretty good. But
I hate to tell you, you can get an earax removal kit from eBay for $3.59, don't you?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know whether that would work properly or not, to be honest. And because when the woman was looking through my ear, the wax was actually attached to the inner part of the drum, so where the hole goes down through in your head, basically.
Okay.
The wax had gone around the circumference of it, if you know what I mean. So it was attached to the outside. So I'd been for a week. I was using olive oil to put down my ears for that week, and yeah. So it was it's a weird experience, but yeah.
What did Popeye think of that?
Sorry. So it was like when she put this rubber thing in my ear, then she got this little stick, very thin it is, and it had a catheter inside it, or a cannula if you would call it that. And then she would put it in there, they'd push the pump would come out there with the tubes going through that and everything else, and it sounded like someone was trying to tune an old medium wave radio. That's what it sounded like, and then it would go quiet and go as it was like as a big chunk would fly out, and then onto the thing that she stuck in the air with it, with the air in it. But mate, what an experience that was! I'll tell you that now. So the only reason I say it is because what I did was when I finished there, I went to my local. We got we've got 2 record stores locally called The Vault. We've got one in Christchurch and one in Bournemouth, and the Bournemouth is the bigger one of the 2, but they all pay at the same company. It's an independent shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I was chatting because if you don't know, September the 26th, which is this coming Saturday, is going to be drop 2.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've just been looking through it now. There's only one thing. I told the woman about it. She said, "Yeah, I know. I think everyone wants this, but we're going to hopefully get quite a few." So I'm going to have to leave very early in the morning. Again, maybe earlier than I did before. I need to be in the top 5 or 6 people in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm after, if you wanted to try and buy the original pressing when it came out, you're looking at having to cough up at least 400 quid.
Right.
But it's what it is. It's the motion picture soundtrack to Tron Legacy, which is, is a sequel to Tron. And this was done by Daft Punk.
Right.
So that's coming out with 2 LPs, translucent blue coloured vinyl gatefold sleeve. And which is the weirdest thing is, though, if I go back, I'm going to switch back to the main page. So the other one I was interested in was the music from Mark Snow for the X-Files.
Right.
That's also going to be out on the September 26th. So there's a 2 I would like to have. Now, that is drop 2, but there is going to be a drop 3. And that one, if I can find it, because for some reason I'll go to home, it might be easier. There we go. It's going to do it. Somehow it's been a bit slow, but I did look at this earlier because I was just trying to work out what was happening. So drop 2 is in September, and then there's going to be another drop in October, which is going to be the 24th of October. Okay,
right.
And in that drop there is Daft Punk Tron Legacy reconfigured. Now I don't know if that is either another pressing, so they're doing 2 pressings for it, or it's something completely different. I don't know, but I'm not going to know that till the day, I don't think. So I might have 2 shots at this, at getting the album. So we will see. It's it's interesting trying to pick up these times to try and pick something up. So from that point of view, for me, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. So we'll see. I know I've got a little bit of backup from a mate at work who actually said to me, he knows a friend of his owns a record store, and he might actually be able to put it away for me. So I might still be able to purchase this. If I go to 24th of October. So this doesn't sound great on the radio or actually to listen to. So I'm just going to look. So okay, well I'll read that later because I've actually got the album cover up. That is that's interesting. So this is remix remixes of selections from the original motion picture soundtrack. Oh, I'm going to want both now, aren't I? Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, that's me, really. Just a quick chat. I did pick up a book this week, which, if you're a fan of Star Trek, the motion picture, I highly recommend it. And it's a big coffee table book with all about the artwork for the movie. And all that. It really is a good book to get. I picked it up on Amazon.
Yeah, I saw you posted a couple of things about Star Trek the motion picture.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really interesting to read. There's some lovely photographs in the book as well. A lot of pre-artwork that was used, to get put the imagination into what we see on the film, sort of thing. But really cool.
Cool.
Okey doke. That's
all right. Yeah, well, in that case, then let's move on to Gaming This Week. Right, so Gaming This Week, and I think that the talk is going to be basically about the new consoles, isn't it, really? Because that is the big news.
Now, unfortunately, because the way it happened, there was a leak.
Yes.
And this is there was a leak about the Series S. So Microsoft quickly, I think at the time it came out, it was like 3 a.m. in the States. So they quickly responded with bringing out the news that we saw during the day, given the price of $299, which, to take that into consideration for us, is £250.
$249, yeah.
Yeah, $249. Take a quid here or there. And then swiftly after that, then we had the Xbox Series X come up with its prices as well as. So everything obviously on Twitter was $499, but again, that's just for pounds again, isn't it? So, but that was interesting how that all came about. Now, unfortunately for me, I think, because did you watch the reveal for the PS5?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Okay, so they were able to throw in there a load of gaming stuff before they revealed the price.
Yeah, which isn't really surprising, really, is it?
No. But I think everyone knew that when this was middle of last week, wasn't it? Now I'm trying to think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When it happened, but I think it was a bit of a shitstorm for Microsoft that the what got sort of broke, before they could actually do it themselves, because I'm sure they would have had a nice little show to do with some extra news of any games or so before they would reveal the prices as well. So that was a bit unfortunate for Microsoft, but end of the day, the prices are out for there. That was quite interesting, and a lot of YouTubers ended up getting deliveries of empty Xboxes to show the sizes.
Yeah, because this thing is tiny. It's not much bigger than an original SNES.
Did you hear? Did you see that on Twitter? Because quite a while ago, Phil Spencer was talking on a video, and he had one.
It was in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nobody realised what it was.
No, it was just sat there.
Yeah. So your choice is now that you can have a black shoebox or a white Bluetooth speaker designed console.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, looking at I looked at one of those videos just to see what was on the back and to see how the idea was for the hard drive expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like at the back of that there's going to be the slot is there, which you would just push it in and it would just sit out at the back of it and stick out.
Yeah, and it's hot swappable as well, evidently.
Yeah.
So I think the big news for it, though, is obviously both Sony and Microsoft have gone for this digital version and full fat version, which, obviously is what the Series X is and the PS5, not the PS5 digital. The difference here is in terms of specs, because the Sony all digital is, effectively speaking, the full fat version without a disk drive.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Whereas the Series X has some real differences to the Series S. So we're both running with the 8-core AMD Ryzen Zen 2 architecture, but in the Series X, it's set at 3.8 gigahertz, whereas with the Series S, it's at 3.6 gigahertz. Graphics-wise, and this is where there is a big difference, and I was a bit, that is really weird, considering the specs that the Xbox One X has more teraflops than the Series S, but the graphics card in the Series X is a AMD Navi RDNA 2 family GPU with 52 CUs at 1.825 gigahertz, and it'll do 12 teraflops. Whereas the Series S version is a Navi RDNA 2 family GPU with 20 CUs at 1.565 gigahertz, producing 4 teraflops. Video memory-wise, obviously you've got 16 gig in the Series S, whereas you've got 10 gig in the Series S. Storage-wise, you've got 1 terabyte NVMe SSD PCIe 4 hard drive, whereas in the Series S you have half of that. You've got 512, which is a bit of a a bummer. Optical drive, obviously you don't have that in the Series S, but it's a 4K Blu-ray drive on the Series X. Maximum output. Now this is where it really gets interesting, because the Series S obviously is designed to do 8K at 60 frames a second, or 4K at 120 frames a second, whereas the Series S will output at 1440 at 120 frames a second. Both have ray trace, both have the dynamic share and latency input, unknown if it's VR support, backwards compatibility. Now this was another one of those interesting ones, because they have Xbox One and supported Xbox 360 and Xbox games. But obviously the Series X will, I believe, run the Xbox One X enhancements, whereas the Series S doesn't, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Which is a bit, and then obviously they're both released on the 10th of November. Obviously the Series X is $449 and the Series S is $249 in terms of pound, or $499 or $299 respectively. So obviously what they've done is do a cut down version of the next gen for people who are only operating in HD. Now, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that's the sort of console that, maybe, not saying they could, but there could be a PlayStation fanboy. Should we say fanboy in brackets? It's not someone that's dedicated to PlayStation might think to pick up an S as a secondary console.
I think if they're a fanboy, they probably won't. I think if anything, they'll be taking a bit out of the Series S.
Well, they took fanboy. I said it in brackets, but everyone's got their favourite. But it would be that would be something that maybe someone that would want to pay for both. I know we know people that have done, yourself and whatever. But it's a nice ideal way of coming into it. But also it's a nice way for a first Xbox with Game Pass. I think that's a great way to jump in with Xbox. To be honest, it's such a cheap way to
now,
especially for the little kids' point of view. You don't want to be buying the top model.
Well, so, I mean, if the kids are going to stick to playing Fortnite, yeah, but obviously, I think it's one of those things. If you can debate this all day long, and the actual answer is it's right for some people and it's not right for others.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it's the same way you've got some people will have, when we get to the PlayStation 5, one or the other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, the hardcore are going to go for the main one. In this case, with Xbox, you're going to be going for the Series X.
Yeah.
But there is rumours of another console,
a Series V.
Yeah, which is going to be a digital version of the Series X.
Yeah, which to me, I think they're then just getting a little bit silly.
But it makes sense, though, doesn't it?
It makes sense. Personally, I think what Sony have done makes more sense. I know they've got a higher price point, but I still think it makes more sense to have gone that extra 100 and have the Series V and forget about this S, because...
No, the thing is, though, we're talking not everyone's going to be able to afford the main console. COVID's been a kick up the backside for a lot of people. So 259 quid, £249 or whatever, is a great selling point.
But this is where Microsoft makes things even more affordable for people, because Microsoft have I think they'd said about this new purchase scheme.
Yeah, they got one for the X and for the S, haven't they? So
yeah, so if you're going for the Series X, you can buy the Series X for what was it, £28.99 a month, and that includes Game Pass for 2 years as well.
Yeah.
Now I know that there was a bit of a debate of people saying, that you're paying out a lot more money, but that depends upon your perspective. If you're one of these people who hunts down and gets Game Pass Ultimate for, like 30 quid for a year, yeah, you are paying a lot more money. You're paying probably around about 150 quid more. But if you're just like a normal person who would, maybe either subscribe to a year or subscribe to monthly to Game Pass Ultimate, then you're effectively getting a console for £18.99 a month.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
It is, and it's not just. I think console wars is a load of bollocks. I'm going to say this now. These days, it's a load of bollocks. I think everything is so close. Everything is so close. The way it's all working, the specs, they're all very close to each other. So I don't think it's a big deal now.
No. And I have to admit, in terms of all of this about exclusives and that, just look at the way Sony's going. Sony is going the way that Microsoft went 2 years ago.
Yeah, but they're even backtracking now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because obviously Xbox have said this at the beginning, and Sony might have poo-pooed it, but they're saying that the games that you'd be playing on the Series X, you can play on the other consoles. So now the same thing's now happening to PlayStation.
Well, PlayStation, I've just read a tweet a couple of minutes ago that evidently one of the top executives at PlayStation was saying that 95% of PS4 titles will run on the PlayStation.
Well, they've said now that the new Spider-Man game
is going to be released on both.
Yeah, and so is the new Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
So from a point of view, if I do want to play them, I can still play them on my upright PS4 Pro.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly the same as with Microsoft as well, which is why, I'm going to pre-order, I pre-ordered the PlayStation with Shop 2, and it's showing that it's on pre-order. Whether or not I get that day one, I don't know. Not too worried, because whatever way around it'll happen, they'll arrive at some point. And when they do arrive, I'll use them. It's as simple as that. So all I'm thinking is, I'll be able to play exactly the same games on my X and my Pro in the meantime.
That's right. But do you know what? Right, as we were saying just pre-recording about this. Now I don't know how many. Well, a lot of people. Well, let's start back from the beginning. Sony. It's been a lot of moaning from the amount that Sony have got to give everyone to pre-order for the stores.
Yeah, Sony are evidently saying that there's going to be more coming before Christmas as well.
So they've sold out, which you won't be surprising, because if they've only got a small amount there, they're going to sell out, aren't they?
But they always said that there would be limited supply.
Yeah.
They always said that on the first run. And you look at the PS2, it's exactly what they did with the PlayStation 2.
Yeah. So, interesting enough, some people got onto Amazon that we know. They were able to bag their order there. But as it happened, it went quickly, within, I don't know if it was in minutes maybe, that they were all sold out. And it'd be interesting to see how our orders work with Shop 2.
Well, we both pre-ordered.
So we registered. So we registered our interest for a penny.
Yeah.
I don't know when you. So I did mine on the. What did I say? Oh yeah. So I pre-ordered my penny, which is going to be. When did I do that? Let me go back again and see if I can find it. I did that on the 15th of the 6th.
I did mine for both on the 13th of the 6th.
Oh, did you? So we did it within the same week of each other. So there you go.
Yeah. It was the last time. I think I actually told you that they were doing pre-orders, if I remember rightly, because or it might have been that we talked about it on the show, because I went on and thought, they're doing pre-orders. I'll do one of those, and then hopefully that'll put me up further up the list. Now, when I look at my PlayStation at the moment, it's telling me it's pre-ordered and will be released on the 19th of the 9th.
And the same with my Xbox says at the moment, when you click on it, it says there, Xbox Series X console ordered ordered on the 15th of the 6th and will be released on 10th of the 11th. And then below that, in big red letters, it says remove pre-order. So it sounds like we have a pre-order in place before the 22nd of September at 8 a.m. when everyone else will be able to refresh their browsers on whichever place they want to go, whether it's Argos or Amazon, to hopefully pick one up. So you see, I might even try and actually pre-order one on Amazon just as backup. I'm at home. I'm in the office on Tuesday, so I might even try and do that.
Well, if they run out, just keep it and then stick it on eBay for £700.
Well, yeah, you saw my post with all these people. I mean, come on, those gits, Scavengers.
Well, it's called being an entrepreneur.
Well, we can always ask Alan about that, can't we? He knows how to do it.
Alan's our resident Del boy, definitely.
But he doesn't deal with dodgy dogs or dolls that have got the wrong language.
No.
It's more with the games. But, so it'd be interesting to see how that will follow suit.
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit, we said about the fanboy wars. I so don't want to see fanboy wars this time. It's pathetic. Grown men and women behaving like school children.
I don't mind the fun out of it, where they will have the memes for it, all these different pictures with, we've had the X Series S, haven't we, looking like a Bluetooth speaker.
Well, it does look like a Bluetooth speaker.
But do you know what I mean? There's all these images that float around on Twitter.
Let's face it, you've got your choice of three things: a shoebox, a Bluetooth speaker, or a router. Yeah.
Or a fridge. I saw a massive fridge for the Xbox Series X at one place in someone's house. But But it will be interesting to see whether in the next week we hear about a digital version of the Series X, and possibly they may do that with $100 less.
I think that they will,
because we have got the Tokyo Game Show. It's Microsoft or anyone's going, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, actually, the all digital PlayStation is actually $359, so it's actually a £90 difference.
Yeah, just short £100, isn't it?
Yeah. So personally, I don't know. I would spend the extra £90 to get the drive just as backup for anything, or for getting your game.
Do you think? I'm not trying to knock Sony for this, but do you feel that the digital version was priced correctly? Do you think it should have been cheaper?
Given the fact that it's the full system minus the disc drive, I cannot wonder if the full system should have been priced cheaper, if it would be honest, because the Blu-ray disc drive, no way that drive itself costs £90.
No, but it's down to the design and the making of the actual console shell, isn't it? You see, there's that involved as well.
What, do you honestly think that bulge is going to account for that much?
Don't know. I really don't.
Cash?
But do you think they could hit and they could have made that a bit cheaper?
I think they could have made the top one cheaper, yeah.
If the digital version was the same price as they could have matched the price of the Series S.
I'm not sure that they could have done that, but I think that they could have brought down the price of the full system. I think they could have done probably the full system at, say, $429, $419.
No, but I think all the rumours, the full system, they're all both at $449, and there's rumours that these could have been at $600. So I think Microsoft and Sony probably are always taking a hit already. But for the digital version of it, because Sony will have you by the balls and curlies here, because as soon as you've got digital version and you want to get games, you're either going to go and get them on the store, or you're going to wait a while to see a reduced price on, say, CD keys for a digital version.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they will still make their money on software, more so for the all digital.
But you look at places like Game and even independent game shops, they also sell the games on cards as well, where you rub off the code. So, you can still go into a shop and buy a game. So...
But the idea, a lot of people still like to get the disc version. If it's a game they play once, then they like to trade it in. I know it doesn't help the developers, unfortunately, but that's the way of the world, and people then trade it in to hopefully pick something else up.
Well, there was talk, wasn't there? I can't remember whether it was by Sony or Microsoft or both of them, about if you've got a disc version, it's not a worry, even if it's an old game, because they had some sort of system that would allow you to get the game even though you haven't got the disc, and then that seems to have gone by the wayside. So,
But you see, if someone was to go from a PlayStation 4 Pro, for example, with a disc version, say go all digital, then all those discs they got sitting on the side, they're just going to sell them because they're good to them.
Not going to be any good at all.
No. And that is the unfortunate thing about it.
Which is why they're not going to go there. They're going to go the full fat one.
Yeah. But then the other part of this is going to be is what's the price? What price are we going to see these hot swappable hard drives?
I reckon that you'll
from
probably
Microsoft point of view. I don't know what I presume that they got something similar on the back. I haven't seen the back of a PS5 yet.
No, I think don't you just swap out the SSD because isn't it a standard SSD drive that's in them? I don't know.
On the PlayStation.
I seem to remember reading something like that you just put in another SSD because it's not a custom, is it?
Well, it looks like I wouldn't like to take one of those apart on that design.
Well,
unless it's from the back and you can unplug it and then slot a new one in, maybe, I don't know.
Or just take off one of the side panels and maybe it's instantly accessible.
Yeah. But I do like the idea that you can plug another 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte drive straight into the back of your Xbox.
Yeah, but it'll be expensive. I bet you anything that you're looking at for a 2 terabyte drive, it's going to be 150, 200 quid.
Yeah, because we haven't had the prices yet, have we? So it'd be interesting to see where that goes.
No, I reckon it'll be massively expensive.
So I'm surprised that the accessories haven't been announced yet.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's not, don't get me wrong. I seriously hope it's cheap. But I think that's where they'll catch the money up.
But there is a USB 3 in the back, isn't there?
Yeah, but you can't play Xbox Series X games on the USB. You can download them from the SSD onto there, but then you've got to upload them again in order to play them.
Yes, it's interesting. But yeah, again, it's another way to make a bit of money.
Of course it is.
And even Microsoft have been doing that for years, because do you remember when we used to have the hard drives used to clip on the top of the 360?
Yeah.
And, when you took it apart, it was only a standard drive in there, wasn't it, on the design?
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, I don't know. Well,
yeah, I mean, when you look at the original 360s, they came with the hard drive, the first ones were 20 gig, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I know that my 360, the last one I think I had a 512 gig hard drive on it, which had, bought separately, but because it was, I don't know. I mean, one thing that I did do, because we normally do the poll at the end, but I think it's probably relevant to bring it in now, is I asked a question of our Facebook group about the Series S views and what people thought of them. So I gave them a few different options. And 43% of people thought that it was a good entry with an acceptable compromise. So the 249 people were happy to compromise the fact that it was all digital and HD. And don't forget, when you say HD, it's like it's not 1920 by 1080, it's a 1440 resolution. So it's, higher than HD. 41% of people said it was a fantastic idea, good for people on low resolutions and doesn't need a Blu-ray player. 10% of people thought it was a terrible idea. And 2% of people said not so sure about it. 2% of people said good idea, not bothered about the resolution or non-digital. And then another 2% of people said it was a fantastic idea, but should have had a Blu-ray. I personally think it should have had a Blu-ray on it. I know that would have probably have stuck it up to 300, but look at the price point in terms of the next one up. I think that would have just given it that bit more of an advantage.
Yeah.
But
so I think it's one other thing we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, with Microsoft, we've got Game Pass.
Yes.
And during the announcement last week with the PlayStation price and everything, they revealed PlayStation Plus, which is a collection of games which can be free to you to play, which will be including Bloodborne, God of War, Monster Hunter, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15. I think Mortal Kombat, I think Uncharted 4, I think Spider-Man might have been in it as well. Now, all those games that they're giving you there, to be honest with you, are games that I think most hardcore PlayStation boys would have played already.
Yeah. The only ones that haven't got in that lot are ones that I didn't want, like Fallout 4.
Yeah, but to be honest, though, when I came back into the PlayStation view, I played all those games when I bought the Pro. So I think from the point of view of a lot of people, those games were maybe replayed, but a lot of them, the bulk of the community would already been playing. It's a nice little touch. It's nothing to compete with Microsoft.
It's a non-gift, basically.
But it's, and
it's a bit like you asked for a video game and you got given a pair of socks.
Yeah. So also I think Resident Evil's in there, Persona 5, which I thoroughly recommend because that's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
So I like the idea. I think it's a nice little touch, but I think it's, as I say, whether or not they add to it or remove some, I don't know. We don't really know how that's going to work, but it's something for you to be able to play that if you missed out.
Well, I do hope it's not fixed on that and you're still getting the free games every month. Because if that's it, that's not good. Well,
don't know. We'll see. There's not much more I think has been said about it, has it?
No, not at the moment.
But yeah, it's it's a nice touch. Yeah, I mean, it's not there to rival the Xbox. It's just something they decided to want to do. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, we all know what we want to do, but it's trying to get hold of what you want now, isn't it? And for some people with Sony, it's been hard to do that. A lot of people have had emails from people they've tried to pre-order such a certain degree and they haven't been able to get that order fulfilled because they didn't have enough of them. So yeah, I feel sorry for the guys that have been trying to pick one up and can't.
Yeah.
So I do. I totally. I'm not going to laugh at them for that because I feel sorry for them because it's what they want.
But I'm not being funny on in terms of what you said to what you were planning on doing. But part of the problem is when people double dip and they'll book on two to make sure that they get one and then cancel it because that means that if like a quarter of people did that, that means that half of the consoles are taken up.
Don't you think people did do that?
No, I've never done that. I've just gone to one place and that's it. I've not double dipped in terms of booking the same console in two different places.
Because until I get that confirmation from Shop 2 to say, can we take the money out now off the card, until they say we've confirmed your order and you're getting one, then I'll if that happens within the first hour of pre-ordering one, I will cancel the pre-order on the Amazon.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we don't know how many people that have pre-ordered before us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't know how many Shop 2 are going to get. We don't know how many people have actually done that registered originally. People, they're up. You can still pre-order a PlayStation 5 on Shop 2 at the moment. But they're saying at the minute that it won't probably come for day one. You have to wait for another batch.
I think that's fair enough, but the batches will be coming relatively consistently.
Yeah, it depends how quick they're done. I mean, what's good about PlayStation though that Xbox haven't done, because they've obviously released the media remote, a HD camera. You've got a charging point for the new DualSense controller, and you've got a new Pulse 3D wireless headset. So other than the hard drive, if there is, they've showed everything that you can pre-order. Obviously, you can register interest now for the games. So you've got Spider-Man, Gran Turismo 7, Ratchet and Clank, and everything else there is in that list. So yeah, it's getting closer.
Well, it's less than 2 months.
Yeah, it's frightening, isn't it? We're so trying to keep keep waiting for it's all just come out like it has within a week, and it's good.
I think it was always going to be like that though, because both Microsoft and Sony have been playing chicken on this, and people will get fed up. And
what do you think? If Microsoft hadn't leaked and Sony went first, do you think Microsoft might have changed their price strategy differently or not?
No,
I think that's set in stone, to be honest.
You might have seen the Series X coming in at $429. I have a feeling that might have happened. Because there was talk about it coming in at $429 at one point.
I mean, I'm quite happy with the prices. They've come under 500, which is what I think we both said. Where we were at one point thinking it's going to be 600.
Yeah.
But it might be that when you get an extra hard drive. So that will be it.
Yeah, no, I'll have to mortgage my second house in order to be able to get one of them, I reckon.
Well, I'm only going to be playing Destiny on it anyway, to start with.
I don't know why you just don't buy yourself a PC and cut out the middleman. I have the better, more superior version of Destiny to play.
I will have a better version I've got now, which I'm happy about. So
it'd still be better on PC, I tell you.
No, on my big TV, I'll be quite happy with it, honestly. I'm chuffed with that.
Output it to your big TV as well.
Yeah, you have to have things lying around there on the floor. I think it can be nice and
what, like a HDMI cable?
Well, yeah, because the PC would be on the other side of the room.
Yeah, just get a 3-meter HDMI cable. Be fine.
Anyway, it's not going to happen. I'm going to be happy with the X. I'm going to be getting something far superior than I have had. Whether or not my eyes will notice a difference, that will be the interesting thing to say.
I can imagine in about 4 years' time, you're going to have finally got a gaming PC. And then you're going to come on here and say, wow, how wonderful the PC version is of Destiny in comparison to, the console version. And I'm going to be going, yep, been telling you for the last 6 years.
But when we do that, I'm not going to say this now, but I'll be nearly hitting 60 then. I'm going to be an old fucker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to do the new releases?
Yeah, okay. So new releases we have, starting with the 22nd of the 9th. 13 Sentinels, ages 3 on the PS4 from Atlas. On the 24th of the 9th, we've got Going Under on all formats from Team 17. Also, we have Rip Them Off on the PC, Serious Sam 4, PC and Stadia, Gone Viral on the PC, and Little Big Workshop on the Xbox One. Then on the 25th, we have DreamWorks Troll Hunters Defenders of Arcadia on all formats. We have Zengian on the Switch. And last but not least, we have Mafia Definitive Edition on PC, PS4, Xbox, and Stadia. Stadia? Really? Okay. From 2K.
Yeah, well, evidently someone's playing Stadia. So, if we have a look at the subscription games, we've got Twitch Prime, which has The Last Blade 2, Samurai Showdown 5 Special, the King of Fighters 2002 Ultimate Match, the King of Fighters 97 Global Match, Shock Troopers, the King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match, Garou, Mark of the Wolves, and Metal Slug, and all of those are available until, by the look of it, the 31st of March, so quite a bit of time there. In terms of Epic, we've also got Football Manager 2020, Stick It to the Man, and Watch Dogs available now until the 24th of September, and after that we've got Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition from the 24th, and no doubt there'll probably be another one to announce to go with that as well.
Can I ask you a question while we're at this point?
Yeah.
So the installer for Epic Games, that's not a great deal for that, is it?
No.
Okay. I'm just downloading it now. The only reason I'm downloading it now, because when I was seeing what you were reading out, I want Football Manager 2020. I'm hoping that's going to run on anything.
I think it's not that demanded.
Or even actually Roller Coaster Tycoon. I used to love playing that back in the day.
Stick It to the Man's quite an entertaining little game, and it'll probably run on your PC, to be honest.
Yeah. So,
but this is what I keep saying to you about PC stuff. Is that you should add them to your system because when you get a PC,
the stuff that's on there, right? The stuff that we can see isn't really lighting my fuel. It's all in it. But with Epic Games, I'd love to have Football Manager, play that again, because it's not on the Xbox any shape or form. It used to be on.
It was on Game Pass.
This is 2020 though. So
it was on Game Pass.
What, Football Manager?
I'm sure it was. I'm not sure if it's still on there, but I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it may have came off, but they're free downloads, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I'm just installing Epic. I hope it won't I'm not upset everyone I'm doing the show, but I'm just going to install the game launcher now, just so I can have Football Manager.
Yeah, Football Manager 2020 launched on Game Pass.
Is it still there? I'm going to put it on here anyway if I can.
trying to see when that was April.
Right, I'll look at my phone in a minute while you're chatting.
Okay.
I'm just going to install the installer first anyway. And I should really have I should put Steam back on as well, actually, because I've got a game library in Steam.
Yeah.
Which should be in the cloud.
Oh yeah, all of those games will go on to whatever PC that you have. That's never a problem with Steam. Steam, it's such a good system.
Yeah.
I mean, if I look at my Steam collection,
it will just fall by the wayside with the amount of games you've got. I know that.
owned games 1,205.
Yeah. Anyway, so while that's working in the background, what we got next then?
Well, what we've been playing this week. So, shall I go first? Because I think you've just got Destiny, haven't you?
Well, I'm not going to talk about Destiny or golf, but I have played another game.
All right, go on then.
I forgot, and because this game isn't coming out on the Xbox Series X for some time, I thought I'd just put Forza 7 in, and I haven't played that. I haven't played that for well over a year, maybe longer. Because when Forza 7 came out, after that we had the Forza Horizons, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that sort of went by the wayside. So I decided to. It was already still installed on the X. So what I'm thinking is that's got enhancements for the Xbox One. It's going to have enhancements for the Series X, so it's going to look pretty gorgeous, hopefully, by the time it gets there. So basically, I just put the game on. You wouldn't believe how many gifts I had in my inbox with Forza. I had money coming out my ears. I had cars coming out my ears. So for the first 20 minutes, I was downloading all of that. And I carried on with the career mode. I don't know if you remember that at all. So there was something like 6 or 7 trophies to win in order from left to right on the screen. And you have to get so many XP points to get to the end to get the trophy. So there's like probably 13, 14 types of races per trophy. And you pick the ones you want to do to build up your XP to win the trophy. So I carried on playing that, and I completed the last trophy. So if you do look, there will be a couple of achievements popped up for Forza, and you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed just playing on that. I know it's an older game now compared to, I can't remember when it came out. It's quite old though, and I still enjoyed it. I had a bit of fun with it, and I really got into that for a few nights. Yeah, I missed it, I think, a bit, to be honest. I know you're not a Forza fan too much, are you?
No. I mean, I used to love driving games. Back in the day when it used to be Ridge Racer and stuff like that, they used to be my bread and butter, basically. But I don't know, I find them quite boring and repetitive these days. I mean, this week, I actually put in Gran Turismo on the PlayStation Pro.
The latest one, yeah?
Yeah.
That looks nice, that does.
Yeah, oh, yeah, beautiful game. It was really quick and all of that. But I really fancy having a go at Gran Turismo because I haven't played it for years. And I did one race and I thought, yeah, okay, I'm sort of like done now. Do you know what I mean?
See, I like the idea of trying to beat the system with that game. No, I can't remember how it is now. I have got it. I have played a big chunk on the PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
And I even remember getting the VR headset out for it as well, because you can actually, there's a little bit there as well, you can play with it.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. And I think before Xbox was even a thing, Gran Turismo was what I was playing on the PlayStation 1. Or it was the PlayStation 1. It would have been, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I might have said this before, but it was the game that I would then phone my mate up, and we'll be on the phone talking while playing the game, going for the silver, the bronze, silver achievements you need to do within the game itself, and you were trying to get around the track within a certain time limit. And we'd be trying to beat each other's scores, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you go back now and probably watch the first Gran Turismo on YouTube and see how graphically different it's changed over those years, it's probably going to shock you a little bit.
Yeah, it is quite amazing.
Because pixelation would have been a thing in the past then. But I used to love it. The music was great in the original versions. I used to love the intro to that. It was fantastic. And yeah, I still hold for that sort of racing game, to be honest. One thing I do like, and I have played. It'd be nice if you ever came on, we could have a look and see where you are with it, because I've got a shed load of cars now, and I've played quite a good chunk of it. You can probably look and see what trophies I've got, if I've got any. I've probably got not too many, but yeah, no, I do love Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I mean,
for me,
you mean Forza?
It was yeah, but Gran Turismo as well. I adored it on the PlayStation. I followed it onto the PlayStation 2, and that's where I left it at that point, because I didn't go onto the 3. So my last Gran Turismo game would have been on the PlayStation 2. So, I mean, it does look lovely. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sure what the graphics are spec-wise on it, but it does look nice, and it's great.
I mean, I would say that Gran Turismo 4 Gran Turismo looked just as good as Forza, really. When I was playing,
they were slightly different. Really they did have a couple of the same tracks they were using there.
Yeah.
For example, the one in Dubai I think it's in Dubai, but I might be wrong when I say that. It comes to mind. But what I did like about when I was playing Forza this last week, I was using Schumacher's Ferrari from the F1.
Okay.
And God, did that thing stick to the floor like you wouldn't believe. But I just had so much fun. I just used those cars where I could, and what other races there was obviously certain specs to it. Yeah. And I really, honestly, even though I'm always playing Destiny and I'm playing golf at the minute because we've got the big tournaments on at the moment, I honestly thoroughly enjoyed it as much as just playing at Forza.
Yeah.
And it's funny because obviously the way Forza worked is that your driver tar carries on playing when you don't.
Yeah, so you get money and all of that. I mean, I'm just looking at your profile at the moment and our comparison in terms of Forza Motorsport 7. So, like I said, it's not my game. I dipped in, had a go of it, quite enjoyed it, but like racing games not my thing. So I've got 70 gamer score. You've got 335. You've got 26 achievements on there. I've got 9. But you've played for 1 day, 14 hours, and I've played for 7 hours.
Yeah.
So, we're... but I would say we're probably on par. It's probably about where you are, or were, at 7 hours. So... Yeah.
But what was the biggest thing I thought, which was how it stood out at the time when it came out, was that the driver tars would play in the non-online races. So there was I had people even like Nats in the race sometimes, and you were in the race.
Yeah.
Driver tar. And even, I think, Webby from, and a few other people. It did make me smile a little bit because it felt like it was online.
Yeah.
And watching some of the races I come to where when you go for the first start and you get to that first corner, say the first turn, and sometimes you'd end up all coming there in a big bunch trying to get around that first corner. And there was people going off all sorts. I stayed back a bit. Some people's driver tires are probably bad, but they were flying in all sorts of places. It was amazing to watch. Really enjoyed it. It's funny.
Yeah, I did have actually somebody complain to me about my driver tire once. Well, I can't control it.
I can't remember who it was. And I got a funny feeling it was Gav, but I was there. Someone just tried to run me off the bloody road at one point. But no, I'm gonna probably go because it'll be great to see when the new Forza comes out, but that's going to be a while yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really had some fun with that. I think I did that while I was off. Actually, I think the week I was off, I think I played it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, really good.
I mean, it's a good game. It's a beautiful looking game as well. So, yeah, it's. I just wish I could get back into driving games like he used to be, because he used to be obsessed by them. But nowadays, it's not my thing anymore, and I don't know why. I just don't know why. I just don't know why I just don't play more of them. But
I might have done a couple of screenshots. I think it was a couple, but I don't know who it was, because it was just quite amusing to see certain people try to run me off the road or take me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just assemble the people that I still play with today. You think, yeah, okay. It's just so if you ever pop on it, you'll probably have a shed load of money and stuff probably there.
I probably will. I'll also have to have a massive.
If you just fire it up and then you go to your inbox and see what you got there.
You can also just buy the what you call it, can't you? The
hub.
Yeah, got the hub.
Yeah, with the hub actually at the moment, it's not until October the 3rd. I think I can start to get some more stuff with it. So,
right.
I think they're going to do something with it then. But I just thoroughly enjoyed in playing that, and I got more fun of it than I thought I would. Because those sort of games they're always my bag. F1 as well, but F1 you can play on Game Pass.
Yeah.
But the idea of playing Formula One within Forza was a better thing. I liked that. That was really good. So yeah. All right, that was.
Yeah, cool stuff.
So while you chatting, I've got to now log in Epic Games.
So for me, I have been playing Marvel Avengers. So I carried on this, as you know, the last time that we spoke, I just started the campaign. It was a couple of hours in, and now I've completed the story. So as you go through the story, you unlock all of the various different Avengers, and then you go on specific missions for them. Some Avengers you naturally prefer playing because of their sort of like style than others.
Yeah.
So, like one or two Avengers kind of feel a little bit underpowered to what you would think. But I think the one that obviously they try and push the most is the Ms. Marvel one, not Captain Marvel, the Ms. Marvel one, where she's definitely, when I was playing it, felt the strongest one, which is a bit ridiculous considering she's, feels stronger than the Hulk. As an Inhuman, but it's just obviously the way that they've balanced the game. So now that I've completed that, I've unlocked all of the factions, I've unlocked all of the vendors and all of that sort of stuff. And what I would say is, obviously, this game is a game for a service as well as an actual campaign. But my God, the vendors are expensive. You can buy stuff from, in-game currency and stuff like that, but there's also stuff you can buy with sort of coinage that you can, purchase the way that you would do on Destiny. And it is really expensive stuff. You're talking about 20 quid for an outfit, which is ridiculous. It really is. I will not be spending anywhere near anybody at all in terms of buying stuff. You can unlock items. There's all of your standard green, blue, purple, and yellow sort of equipment, different levels.
Yeah.
Some your equipment has different attributes as well. So some can be like resistant to melee, some can be resistant to freezing because some of the enemies will attack you with like a freeze sort of attack, or an electric attack, or whatever. So you can be resistant to them because of the attributes in your equipment. Very much like the way that Destiny would work as well. What I did like in terms of the equipment screen is if you hold, I think it might be left trigger, it just defaults everything to the highest that your character can be in terms of all of the equipment. So if you just want to be like the Hulk with the best trousers, which are obviously joggy bottoms that stretches more than other ones, and all of that sort of stuff, it'll do it for you automatically, which is much better than sort of like faffing around that you do in Destiny sometimes. Although it does mean that you don't also have as much choice. You can also upgrade to a certain extent everything that you have, which then upgrades its value by 1. And that depends upon the resources that you collect in the world in order to be able to upgrade certain pieces of equipment. And the higher up that you get the level, some equipment requires, if you like, the sort of like legendary equipment, it might require 2 resources in order to do it, or 2 sets of resources rather. So it makes it harder to progress equipment later on in the game. There's obviously all of the sort of missions that you have in Destiny. I haven't got any on their equivalent of raids or done very much multiplayer so far. You also have the VR room, which allows you to go against certain combat scenarios and do things in waves and that sort of thing as well, with various different other players or singularly, depending upon what one that you actually select. So there's a lot of different things in the game to keep you going, basically, which there would have to be. But as I said, I'm really not sure about this as a service. It doesn't feel right playing it. It feels like once I'd got to the end of the campaign, I felt like I've done the game. I was, my interest waned a great deal after that. I must admit, I did enjoy the campaign. It was a good campaign.
Yeah.
There was one or two levels I found to be an absolute pain in the backside. So, like on Destiny, when you get the public events and it's on Earth, and you've got to stand in the circle where there's the glimmer to capture it.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean by those missions? Well, there's similar sort of ones in this game, but it's to unlock doors. And when you're playing solo on one or two of the levels, it was really quite difficult, just because your character felt maybe so much underpowered, or you were on a character that maybe its fighting style wasn't what you really wanted to do, but you had to use that character for that mission because it was their part of the story arc. So it was a bit up and down, I felt, on a couple of the missions, but generally it was good. I think it was hampered by the fact that it wasn't the licensed characters who had the faces and the voices. I think that would have lifted the game tremendously to make it more into the MCU universe. But I think, generally speaking, the characters themselves, once you got past the voices and the facial expressions and looks, it actually, the characters still felt like who they were supposed to be.
Yeah, I haven't played this for quite a while, and I only got very early on into it, so I was losing interest, unfortunately. But you completed the story first of all, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then this open world. Do you think it's well worth even me going back to it? Let's say purchase it at some point.
I think if you pick it up cheaper, maybe half the price, so 30 quid-ish. I think it's quite reasonable for that if you just want to do the campaign. Yeah. I picked it up on the hope that it would be something that I would be able to do as an alternative to Destiny. Don't think that's going to happen. But it's fun. It'll be good for dipping into every now and again. Maybe if there's a new story arc or something or other like that to do in the world. Yeah. Other than that, I would say it's a very middling sort of thing. In terms of not movie, but a comic strip to video game, it's a good conversion. Better than a lot of them, but not as good as, like, for example, Spider-Man on the PlayStation.
No, that's where the difference is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the bar to reach, basically. Because that game is fantastic. It's one of the best ones of this generation.
Yeah, it's one of a kind, isn't it, I think?
Yeah. Well, it'll be two of a kind because there'll be the Spider-Man Miles Morales as well.
Yeah, that looks... I mean, looking at how that looks gorgeous. Really does.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a purchase for the 5.
Yeah, absolutely. So I need to finish the first one first, though, because I haven't finished it.
Still not finished it? God, man.
No, I know. Tell me about it.
Okay, well, you play a Spider-Man. It is well worth you investing the time in that. I mean, I platinumed that game. It's not a hard platinum to do. It's more of a grindy platinum.
Yeah.
But nothing matter with that. A platinum is a platinum at the end of the day.
Okay.
So,
a lot of people haven't they?
Yes. Yeah, it's one of the more popular AAA titles that's got platinums. So, other game that I've played is Tell Me Why. So, if you're not familiar with this one, it's an adventure game from Don't Nod Entertainment and published on Xbox Game Studios. And effectively, it's sort of like the next game in the sequence of the Life is Strange sort of games. So it's released in 3 episodes on Xbox. It's exclusive to Windows and Xbox One, and it's been released across August and September. If you've played Life is Strange 1 and 2, you know exactly what to expect. If you've not played those games before, if you think the Telltale games, it's like that with a little bit extra, basically. Better graphics and a couple more sort of different things. This one is based in 2005 in an Alaskan town of Delos Crossing. Ollie Ronan confesses to murdering his mother in self-defense. Ollie is sent away to Fireweed Juvenile Detention Centre, while his twin sister Alison is adopted by Delos Police Chief Eddie Brown. 10 years later, as an adult, Ollie, now transitioned to male and renamed himself to Tyler, returns to Delos Crossing and reunites with Alison. The twins plan to sell their childhood home so that they can move on with their lives, and Alison can move to Juneau with her friend Michael. The house is in disrepair, despite the efforts of a local handyman called Sam, who was very close with Mary Ann, who has become he's become alcoholic since her death. And as you search the house and look at old stuff in the house, it sort of like raises questions about the childhood and the circumstances about how the mother died. And you go in search for answers, and that's basically the story of the game. It's, like I said, you know what you're getting straight off. This is very much a sort of like linear sort of story. It's set up in chapters. There's about 8 chapters in every episode, and some of those chapters are literally just videos, or FMV, whatever you want to call them. It's not FMV, but you know what I mean. Rendered scenes that you can watch, and it's not a bad story at all. I mean, obviously, if you're very sort of anti-transitioning and stuff like that, I don't think this would be the story for you in any way, shape, or form. But if you're, and I kind of feel that it's gone a little bit overboard in terms of the transitioning, because you seem to have to side with Tyler as the the transition male, as opposed to the female character, his sister, in it. A lot of the time, to get the better ending of the game, which seems a bit odd. Sort of, why there isn't more of a balance, but that might be just me. But I don't mind. I didn't mind the game. It's an enjoyable story. It's interesting. There's a bit of intrigue in there as well. I quite like the bit where you actually sneak into the records room in the police station, have to look up stuff because of the stuff that you have to find out about that, and you've got to do a bit of detective work through the police archives, which was quite interesting. There's obviously the normal load of collectibles across the place as well for you to find, which are sort of like little goblins that have been carved out of wood and various different things for you to find. But yeah, it's a decent enough game. It'll whittle away probably about 7.5 hours by the time you finished it.
Of your life, that is.
Yeah, definitely. Thinking about whittling away your life, by the way, I went on to How Long to Beat Steam. So if I was a zombie playing 24 hours, 7 days a week, based on my current games and where I am in the games, it'd take me 3 years, 5 months, 1 week, 4 days, and 13 hours to complete most of my games. There was 226 games that were excluded because they're not completable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot.
That's just mental, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely mental. But that's what happens when you get games from, like Humble Bundle or whatever. You get one game you want, and 9 games that you don't want, but you still have them at your Steam library.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, going back to Tell Me Why, it's a good one. It's on PC. It's also on Xbox One. It's on Game Pass. It's free. If you like the Telltale sort of games or Life is Strange 1 and 2, you'll like this. Dead simple.
Oh.
If you're very much, anti-modern ways, don't play it. You won't like the story. So,
the way, do you mean the way of the world is now?
Well, just life of the universe and everything. Not everybody understands the thought of transitioning and that sort of stuff, do they?
No, I know what you mean by that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we move on to movies, TV, and streaming?
Yep.
All right, so movies, TV, and streaming, and we got a bit of news. So, Guardians of the Galaxy start to return to the MCU is a big question. So, Elizabeth Debicki has addressed her potential return to the MCU. The cosmic character is set to play a pivotal part in the future of the MCU, potentially starting from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, whenever we're going to actually see that.
It'll be a while yet, won't it?
But what's less clear is if she will play Aisha to make a return. What she said is she wants to and she would love to, is what she told comicbook.com, and was quote saying, I actually really, really love playing her, and I love making the movie and working with everybody and James Gunn, and it was really fun job for me, so I hope so. So if you're wondering which character she was the gold woman, who was the Queen. That's the character on, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But in the meantime, you can see her in Christopher Nolan's time-bending action thriller Tenet, which is obviously now in the cinemas. And she will also be playing the role of Princess Diana in the 5th and 6th seasons of Netflix's The Crown.
Oh, she's got the role, has she?
Yeah, she has.
Yeah, because I think it's coming soon. The next series of The Crown has been advertised now for Netflix.
Yeah.
So I will probably sit and watch that with the missus because she does love it. So
yeah,
I'm interested more to this point of view how it goes now.
Be interested. Well, I think we know how it'll go.
Yeah, we know the story. Yeah. But yeah, I know it's okay. So I'm being a little bit off cuff here because I'm just installing Football Manager at the moment.
Okay, he's not concentrating on what we're doing.
It's all right.
That's what it is.
It's 56% done at the minute after getting the launcher on, linking Epic Games to my Xbox account.
Yeah,
but I couldn't have my gamer tag. Do you know that?
Well, there you go.
Someone else has got it. So I'm on Epic Games. I'm Stevo764. If you want to know, there you go.
Oh, dear me.
I'll put that to one side for the minute.
Well, you'll be able to add that at the end, won't you?
Yeah, I want to see if it plays in a minute. That'd be right. Anyway,
second piece of news. Second piece of news. Thinking about royalty, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot has been picked up for 2 seasons. Streaming service Peacock has ordered 2 seasons of the series. The original star Will Smith confirmed the news on his YouTube channel on the 8th of September, where he spoke over video to director Morgan Cooper and the showrunner Chris Collins. As for the reboot and how that's going to be different from the original series, Bel-Air will be serialised 1-hour drama version of the 90s sitcom, following the lead character's move from Philadelphia, to a very different community of Bel-Air. With a reimagined vision, Bel-Air will be basically a deeper dive into inherent conflicts, emotions, and biases that were impossible to fully explore in a 30-minute sitcom format while still delivering swagger and nods to the original show. So it sounds like it's going to be a bit more of a gritty version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I'm not sure how to take that, to be honest, because This was, if you know what I mean, when this was on, I was sort of like old enough to still enjoy it, but not really old enough. I'd say too old to really admit that I was watching it. Do you know what I mean?
It's got a big following, though, isn't it?
It has. It
is loved by a lot. It is loved by a lot of people. Yeah, whether this is going to work or not, I don't know. I'm sick of reboots at the minute.
I'm not sure how well it's going to work, but we'll see. We'll see. So, do you want to do the cinema releases?
Okay, right. Okay, so 14th. Now, this is whether or not cinemas will still be open in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
The way the world's going at the minute, we haven't really talked about the show, but it's going to be a bit worrying. But anyway, so 14th of September, we have Time Loop. The 23rd, we have Malibu Road. The 25th of September, we have Monsoon, Capital in the 21st Century, Rebuilding Paradise, 6 Minutes to Midnight, 23 Walks, and Schemers.
Cool.
That is that, and I don't know about any of those, so I'll find out in time.
Yeah, indeed. Blu-ray DVD releases. We've got the Batman 4 film collection on 4K Blu-ray. We've got Goodfellas 30th Anniversary Collector's Edition on Blu-ray. There is Outlander Season 5 Blu-ray DVD, as well as the Outlander Seasons 1 to 5 DVD. Poltergeist Trilogy on Blu-ray and DVD, and Star Blazers Space Battleship Yamato 2202 Part 2 on Blu-ray and DVD as well. So a few things for everybody there as well.
There's a couple I'm surprised you didn't mention DC Legends Tomorrow Series 5.
That's probably because I'm trying to completely ignore that ever existed. There is also, because I found that season to be actually insulting to my intelligence.
I'm not going to say about the latest season. I've watched some of it, and there was one there where they were trapped in TV shows.
I could not get past the first episode.
But anyway, but with this one, they're trapped in TV shows, and they're on a series similar to Star Trek.
Yeah,
and they're all dressed in a uniform. But that's as much as I'm going to say. I'm surprised you didn't. Sorry,
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, because that is an awesome movie.
Yeah, there's 4K and the Ultimate Collector's Edition in 4K Blu-ray as well.
I don't like the 4K cover for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so wrong how they've done that. I just don't like it at all. But that's my penny worth on that. Poltergeist Trilogy. Poltergeist 2 was okay. The third one, when you're in the tower, and it's not as great. Unfortunately, Heather O'Rourke, that played the character, was very ill at that point, and so she passed away, unfortunately. But I like to just think of the first one, to be honest. I do sometimes watch the second one with the old man, because he was a bit creepy.
Yeah, but been years since I watched Poltergeist.
Yeah, but the third one isn't the greatest, but it's all right, I suppose.
Yeah, and also there's the Rolling Stone Steel Wheels Blu-ray box set. A book cover on Blu-ray and DVD. Excuse me. If you like the Rolling Stones as well, so I think there's pretty much a bit for everybody there this time.
Did I tell you? I did have a DVD arrive, a Blu-ray arrive this week.
All right, what was that?
The Deep.
Okay.
From 101 Films.
Yeah.
And I've had it on pre-order for months. I knew it was coming out, but there was no scheduled date for it. And very nice to have Jacqueline Bisset in my hand there. If you haven't seen that movie, it's got Jacqueline Bisset, Nick Nolte, and Robert Shaw.
Yeah, it's been years since I've seen that.
I think it's on. I think it was on this weekend on one of the channels.
Might have been. I
don't
watch much TV. I hardly watch TV at all, because most of the stuff I watch is either out my own collection or it's Netflix.
But it's going to be, it's going to be. I mean, TV. We still class Netflix as television. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it is, but it isn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching Amazon, because obviously I've been watching the documentary on Hotspur at the moment, and that's been. I think the next bunch of episodes have just come out to finish off the season for that. So that's been quite good. But yeah, anyway, I rabble on again. Cinema charts then, please.
Cinema charts. We have Tenet. Sorry, to go backwards. Onward at number 5. 4, The New Mutants. Number 3, Event Cinema, Break the Silence, the movie. Number 2, After We Collide. And at number 1, Tenet.
Yeah. Have you seen Tenet yet?
No, I was going to go, but I wasn't. my wife was ill last week, if you remember.
Yeah.
And she'd got a virus off my in-laws, who very nicely didn't tell us that they were ill when she went round. She got it, brought it home, and then she gave it to me. So I was ill when I was supposed to go to the cinema. And then Boris Johnson says, oh, it's getting worse. So we sort of I phoned up my friend, or messaged my friend and said, maybe we should just hold off for the moment, just to see what Boris was saying. So we've kind of got to get back in touch and decide what we're going to do, because I'm not really sure I want to sit in a cinema at the moment.
Well, I have a sneaky suspicion this country will be in full lockdown within weeks.
I think it will.
I don't like to say that because it's going to upset a lot of businesses, and more may fall by the wayside because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of stupid people out there that are not wearing masks or protecting themselves when they should be.
No, exactly. And
I'm not going to harp on about that because I saw that on Facebook and it did annoy me a little bit because this isn't the press trying to scaremonger you or the government trying to scaremonger you. It's a real thing. And a friend of mine at work has just picked it up.
Yeah.
And he's now off because of it. And it is a real thing and it can kill you. And it's killing more teenagers at the moment than anyone else.
Yeah.
So that's my rant. I'm not going to go any further with it.
And I think that Boris will actually shut down more, or put more restrictions on, but keep schools going.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be an announcement tonight actually, and I don't think it was going to happen as far as I was aware. But from what I've heard now, well, there was going to be some sort of announcement like they used to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Keir Starmer, hasn't he? He's been what was it called? He's been saying to Boris, or giving him a challenge to say, he'll help him sort out the COVID crisis and all of that, because evidently Boris hasn't been doing the Cobra meetings about it. And Keir Starmer's saying that, these should be going on a daily basis and, we need to get on top of it all, which is entirely right, what he's saying. It needs to be addressed because, let's face it, track and trace.
Yeah. Well, can I just say this, right? I've just seen this on the news. This is really going to wind me up because it says visitors are flocked to Blackpool despite police warning against having a last blast in the resort before tighter restrictions come into force on Monday, which we know is going to be 6 people. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. It is, I don't get it. I don't understand people why they're being so thick. But anyway, should we carry on with what we've been watching, mate? Because I'm going to...
Yeah, do you want to do the Blu-ray and DVD?
Yes. So, new for 5, we have Day of the Triffids. Now, I'm assuming this is the original BBC show that came out.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. At 4, new, we have Superman Man of Tomorrow. At 3, we still have Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. We call it a re-entry, but this is in at 2 is the 60th anniversary of Psycho. And from 50 to 1, we got Star Wars 1: The Phantom Menace. Now, I'm assuming because we've had the HMV collection material, I think you can also pick them up in Sainsbury's and other places. So they got the little 4K single boxes, haven't they, for all the Star Wars movies? Yeah,
and in fact, HMV currently and other places have on offer buy 2 4K Blu-rays for £30, so you can effectively get them quite cheap.
If you wanted to, I think I've seen some of the other ones as well. With I think your favourite store of mine, Zavvi, are doing something similar. But I've been collecting them on. Well, I don't think I'm ever going to pick them up at the moment, but I've only got Rogue One on order for the Steelbook 4K 3-disc edition, so that'll be the last one I'll need to get for now.
Do you know, I have to admit, in terms of Star Wars 4K, I'm really not bothered.
I'm glad I've got them. I mean, they're sitting up there, all 3 of them, the original trilogies.
Yeah.
That's all I really wanted.
I am not bothered at all.
It's more importantly now is the push for Paramount, and there is a push on Twitter with another someone on Twitter that I talked to about getting Star Trek the Motion Picture onto 4K Director's Cut.
Definitely needs to be done.
I've heard it's in the works. Inglorious Trek do talk about it a few times in their podcast, saying that it's being pushed. There could be something to happen, but we just keep advertising the facts about it and hope and pray that it comes out.
Yeah, they'll listen. listen.
And then, because if they realise how well Star Wars has gone for sales in 4K, bringing out. So, what do I need? I need the original movies and the next generation movies in 4K.
Yeah.
Because I have got the Kelvin Timeline box set, all the three of those in 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And they look gorgeous, really.
Although they're fake 4K.
Well, I'll tell you what, wow, that which is my favourite, in Search of Darkness, looks amazing. You're looking at the paint on those dudes at the beginning of the movie when they're being chased.
The fake 4K.
If they're fake 4K, they look friggin' amazing for fake, mate. I tell you that now.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, they are. They're fake. You have a look at, fake or real 4K. They're fake.
Yeah, but you think they wouldn't be, would you? Because they're new movies.
Yeah, but it's about the cameras that they were actually shot on, the digital cameras at the time.
Yeah.
Whereas film cameras...
Are all three of them fake, or is it just one of them?
No, I'm sure it's all three of them are fake.
I'll have a look at it in a minute. I'll be curious. But I've got the box set. It's a wonderful box set. I'll tell you that now.
I haven't got the box set. I've got the individual discs.
But it is nice. I did pick it up pretty cheap at the time.
Yeah.
Because I think they've been releasing the Dark Knight trilogy singly now, haven't they? Even though I've got that on a box set, the Batman.
Yeah, well, that's what they're out. That's what we've just read out
last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But honestly, yeah, when I was watching Star Trek 2 in Search of Darkness, and that first sequence where they're trying to stop the volcano from exploding.
It's not in Search of Darkness. It's Into Darkness.
Into Darkness, whatever. So I didn't mind. Sorry, I'm thinking of the documentary there. So I didn't.
They're all fake 4K. I've just looked them up.
Yeah. But honestly, when I was looking at that, wow, it does look good. And you've got
yeah, it does. But what you've got to remember is that while it's fake 4K, the way that they have more processor time and they have more wizardry that they do with a 4K than what an upscale is.
Yeah,
it's not the same as an upscale from your Blu-ray.
I mean, if you look at for example, if you look at, I don't know, Gremlins 4K that I've got, some of those films are a bit grainy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's still good, looks great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And Terminator 2 4K, we know there's been a bit of an issue with that one. A lot of people are upset.
It's an awful version. I've got it.
Actually, I don't know what it does if it's high res a bit more on my kit or what. It still looks great though.
In terms of 4K though, it's not a good 4K at all.
Apparently not.
I'll tell you what though, Flash Gordon, fantastic. I think that's the best 4K I've seen. And I'm not just saying that because of the movie. I mean, in terms of level of detail and everything.
I tell you another good box set. It ain't cheap. I know. We talk about the Star Wars box set, but I've got the 6 Mission Impossible movies as a box set.
Yeah,
and they look good in 4K. Wow, I do love those movies, and they're filming the latest one at the moment.
Right.
And if you scour on the interwebs or whatever, they're doing a scene with a bike, and you can see this like. Do you remember in Back to the Future 3 when they had the train going off the cliff?
Yeah.
Well, you got it's not exactly the same, but they built this like scaffolding with a big ramp, and then it goes up at a curve and then it stops dead. And this guy's on a bike, probably Ethan Hunt, who knows, and he just goes off into the air with it. Wow, it's they always trying to better themselves with these stunts.
Yeah, but Mission Impossible thing always made me laugh because. For some reason, Ethan Hunt, when he was in the middle of a chase, kept changing his tyres on his bike.
Oh, there's been some, I don't know.
Continuity errors.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say this now, and I've still got them all on my Skybox. There's a show on at the moment showing movies, continuity errors.
Yeah.
Up to about 8 episodes, I think. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
I'll have to dig out the title for you so you can search for it. But they have, I think the first one had a lot of Star Wars stuff. Some of the stuff you might have seen before, but there's even stuff they were showing. I was looking at some stuff from Guardians of the Galaxy, showing you continuity errors and all that. And it's not bad to watch. It's a quite entertaining show to see, especially when you know all the movies.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like if you watch Rogue One. It's not a continuity error as such, but
it's not in there anymore.
It's more of a blooper. But if you the bit where the robot hits, I forgot what his name, Cassian, and, he's saying, shut up or whatever and that, and puts his hand in front of his face. But you can see he's laughing behind his hand because it was an unprompted, an unscheduled sort of like action. It was just improvised. So
yeah, but yeah, it's worth. I don't know what this show's on. It's on terrestrial channels.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember what it's called. But it's about 8 episodes of showing you movie continuity errors and cock-ups, and I'm on about recent stuff as well. They're showing you as well.
You'll have to let me know what the name of the show is.
While you're chatting a minute, I will go onto my because I can go into my Skybox from here.
Yeah.
While we're talking, and I can bring up this name of the show. So does that lead us into what we've been watching then?
It does, but one thing I would, because you were saying about Zavvi, I actually still do have orders in on Zavvi. I've got Back to the Future 4K.
Oh, the one I've got, you mean?
Yeah. But I've also got V for Vendetta, which is one of my favourite films of all time.
Yeah.
And the 300 on 4K.
Yeah.
But just to say about Back to the Future, that trilogy is real 4K.
Apparently, is that right? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So that's quite a fair way off yet, isn't it? I think.
Not as far off as you think. I don't think.
Oh, really?
When's it? Yeah, 26th of the 10th.
Oh, end of October.
It's the end of next month. It's not far.
Yeah. So I'm just going through my Skybox, what I got recorded. Most recent, continue watching. Let me have a look. Actually, while we're talking about what we've been watching, if we're going to jump into it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. There's a 3-part ITV. I've got a 3-part drama called
Des. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I remember when that happened, and I just looked at the first 5 minutes of it. Wow, does that look good? David Tennant looks creepy as hell in that.
He is a really good actor. I'll tell you another good show that's just restarted on Netflix as well is Criminal.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen that?
Don't think so.
Right. It's a show that sets play. It's basically interviewing criminals. David Tennant did the first episode of that, if I remember rightly, and it's just had the guy who played Jon Snow off Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
On this that I've just watched, and basically, it's also had her who played, Captain America's girlfriend. What's her name? Peggy Carter. It's had her on it as well. But basically, the show operates in 3 rooms: the interview room, the observation room, and the corridor outside. And the whole story is in these 3 rooms, and it's about them getting confessions or listening to statements, and then realizing that people are self-incriminating themselves and getting them to confess to murders. And it's really good.
Yeah. So this TV show is on about movie cock-ups and everything.
Yeah.
It's on. Well, if you've got Sky, it's on Comedy Central.
Right. Okay.
And it's called The Greatest Ever Movie Blunders.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that one. I think that's been on before, hasn't it?
No. I mean, the episode 1 has Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Beauty and the Beast, It's a Wonderful Life, The Kingsman, and Secret Service as some in it as well. Mm-hmm. So it's really recent movies, though. Do you know what I mean? Because we know we've seen some from years ago that have been, Star Wars with we know all about those. We don't need to mention them. It's just an example.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's well worth having a look at that. I thoroughly recommend it if you love your movies and you like all of that sort of continuity errors to spot.
Right. Okay.
Very interesting. Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah. So what I've been watching this week is The Boys. So this is season 2 of Amazon Prime's show, basically of the hero sort of anti-hero double-edged sword kind of thing. It's a bit like, imagine a sort of like alternate Justice League.
Yeah, they're the nastier bunch, aren't they?
Yeah, they're probably more real to life what these sort of characters would be. So, for example, Homelander is basically a carbon copy of Superman.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that he doesn't have an S on his chest, but he has the blue suit, and his cape is an American flag.
I remember seeing some of. I think I watched the first episode of season 1.
Yeah.
Which sort of basically gave you an idea of what this was all about.
Yeah. Well, the first episode has one of the lead characters. His girlfriend is liquefied, literally, by colliding with the character A-Train. She's standing like 6 inches off the curb, and A-Train runs straight through her.
Yeah.
Who's this like super fast dude? He's like their version of the Flash, and he just liquefies her, basically. And the character's just, the character who is in both seasons, he's just holding her hands, and her hands are still in his hand. And the rest of the
That's
body
right. I
is
remember
just,
that. That's what I remember of the show. It got a lot of good reports, didn't it?
It's a really, really good show, and I actually like season 2 even more than season 1 so far. It's obviously a continuation of the story.
Yeah. And
it stars Carl Urban, who is obviously McCoy in Star Trek in the Kelvin timeline. And he's excellent as normal. You know, Carl Urban's one of those guys who he can play like the geeky Bones McCoy, or he can play Judge Dredd. That's a wide spectrum. And, you know, he plays like the... I can't make my mind up whether or not he's one of the central protagonists or antagonists in it, because he's kind of like a bit of both, as every other character is as well. But it's such a really good show. It's really very dark in terms of a lot of the outlook. There's lots of intrigue and stuff like that as well. It's very graphic. And at the moment, what you're seeing is some of the characters just becoming unhinged. Like, for example, Homelander, he's becoming unhinged, and, you know, he's done things to create supervillains so that he has somebody more to fight against. But he's still completely invulnerable so far. And, you know, he's got Superman's lasers coming out of his eyes, and he can fly, and he's super strong, and he's impervious to basically anything. And there's this fantastic scene in this season where he's talking to this crowd of people, and they're going against him. And he just has this sort of like flash moment where it's in his imagination, and he just kills everybody there just by, you know, shooting out his beam laser out of his eyes. And he cuts them all in half, and you literally see people going in half. It's and then he snaps out of it, sort of thing. But I really love this show. It's a really good show. It's got Carl Urban in, which he's always brilliant in anything he does.
Yeah, I do like him as an actor, should we say?
Yeah, and it's like I said, it is more of a sort of gritty version of a view of superheroes, because if you think about it, if you did have those sort of things, you would look down on people as if they were a lot less than you because, you know, you were so powerful. You know, so you kind of like, it is probably more realistic than the stylized view of Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman and all of that sort of thing, because they're superhuman people but with human flaws. And egos and all of that. And yeah, it's just a really enjoyable show. I've loved watching it. It's been released episode by episode each week, which is kind of a bit annoying but also kind of good, because it means that we keep on with it as well. So it keeps that talk going. But they released 3 episodes to start it off, and then they're releasing a show a week.
Yeah, obviously. At some point, I might actually go back to the first season, because I know a lot of people recommend it, and it's very different from the DC sort of, you know, superheroes that we've been seeing in the past.
Oh, it's definitely adult. You don't watch this with your kids.
Oh, God, yeah. Some of us were lucky we didn't have kids in the house.
Yeah, but I think you enjoy this.
Yeah.
Once you've watched a couple of episodes, get to know the characters and what they're about. It is a good show.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I watched. The other thing I watched was Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3, because I've got the trilogy on Blu-ray. I decided to watch this, and I'd forgotten how good Beverly Hills Cop was.
It's funny because I've still got the DVD box set, I think, sitting around here somewhere.
Yeah, so have I.
I've never gone to that next level.
No, I got the Blu-ray version of it, and I mean, it's a lovely, version of the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It's not 4K, it's just a normal HD. And it's just so... It was like stepping back in time watching these. I just felt like I melted back to the 80s. The only difference was, I remember watching it in the 80s and looking at, like, Taggart and, the lieutenant in charge, and thinking, my God, they're old. And now looking at them and thinking, actually, they're either my age or younger.
Well, no, because you had obviously the two coppers that were sort of keeping a tail on him.
Yeah.
You had Judge Reinhold there, didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
But I think the first two I adore. I really adore the first two.
Yeah, I don't even know if I like two better than one, but
because it's the alphabet. It's the alphabet killer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the second one.
Yeah,
but the third one, what the heck happened on the third one?
It's crap. It's absolute BS. It's awful.
Oh, it was awful. It was.
Isn't it Wally? It's like a version of Wally World from America.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly
what
it is.
Yeah. But it's like, because they've always said that they've always thought about doing another one, and there's talk now that they're going to do one with Eddie Murphy. But excuse me, if they're going to do it like that, they don't want to do it.
No. I don't know about you. When I watched the third one, I thought that there was going to be an announcement at the end saying this was filmed in front of a live studio audience, because it kind of felt like they said a line and then there was a pause waiting for the canned laughter to come in. Do you know what I mean? And it's just sort of like, it almost felt like they were trying to break the fourth wall with it. But it was terrible. It was not a patch on any of the previous two movies. And it was shameful that it was even called Beverly Hills Cop. It had Eddie Murphy in it and it had Judge Reinhold in it, but it was.
You see, I mean, obviously in the first one, I liked Inspector Todd because he always got his ass chewed.
Yeah.
Which was Eddie Murphy's boss in where he was based. But then you had in it's LA, wasn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yeah.
You had
Detroit.
Sorry, no, Detroit is where he was staying.
Yes,
but he was in LA.
No, they went to Beverly Hills.
Oh, sorry.
He was from Detroit.
Yeah, that's right. He was from Detroit, but he was over in Beverly Hills in LA doing the.
Yeah.
But you the inspector there who was in that. I've got a lot of fondness for that actor because he's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, he was a bad guy on RoboCop, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Total Recall, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
So we see two sides of a character where he's even though he's a boss, but he's actually quite nice to the guys in Beverly Hills Cop, where he's a nasty piece of work in his other movies.
Yeah.
And if there's any outstanding part to Beverly Hills Cop, what would be your favourite thing that stands out that you remember that makes you laugh? I got one. There's two actually.
No, you tell me yours first, and then I'll.
Okay. So the first one is the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah.
That the guy that was giving him the fruit, he was as gay as they come, but I just cry with laughter. And the one on top of that is when actor goes to see the friend of his. She works in that art place.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, and you had Serge.
Yeah.
Who was in there. And he was asking about, do you want to, lemon tea with a twist and all that?
And obviously he was in 3 as well.
He was, because he had all the weapons. Was it a weapons salesman, if I remember rightly? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he was. He was a weapons salesman. He got from art dealing to a weapons salesman.
That's it. But it was that scene in the art gallery when he's in there and he's talking to his, your shirt is too much like this. And he's talking to him, and the way he's talking with his accent and Axel can't understand a word he's saying. It's hilarious. It's really funny. It really is.
I don't know. I quite like the way that Axel got in to see on Beverly Hills Cop 1. When he went to the club and
he's got the brown paper bag.
Oh no, not that one. No, what I was thinking. This is on Beverly Hills Cop 1, where he was the guy he'd been following who.
Yeah, this is the one. He took a brown paper bag in, and he was
No. It was where he was
in the restaurant.
In the restaurant, and he goes up and he goes and says, "Oh, he's looking for this guy," and then he goes,
Maitland, isn't it? Was it Victor
"Yeah,
Maitland?
Victor Maitland," and he says, this is a members only club. He says, "Can I pass on the message?" He says, "Well, yeah, you tell him that Ramon, who we met the other day, I've been to the VD clinic," and it was just typical.
I've got Simplex X4 or something. He comes out with his whatever he's talking about.
Oh yeah, sound-seeking explosive projectile.
Yeah,
bullets, yeah. Yeah, that was another bit, wasn't it, where he nicked his... that was in 2.
They do blend in, but I think sometimes they do blend in. But
yeah, that was in 2. That was in 2, that one.
Yeah, but Victor Maitland in the first one, obviously, great actor. Even actually in Brunel University, I was on the... I was the main team there too, doing all the access control CCTV system for a new building. And they actually named it after him,
right?
The building, But because he's been a Russian in so many Bond movies.
Oh God, yeah.
And I think he might have. Was he in the Rambo one as a Russian as well? Maybe. I think.
Yeah, sure he was.
In the second movie.
Yeah.
In 2, yeah. But he's absolutely great actor. I think he's brilliant. But yeah, I think because obviously for me that's what made Eddie Murphy. Obviously he did his stand up just before that, and there was 2 shows. Raw was one show, and then there was another one on top of that.
Delirious,
which is the better one of the 2.
It is, yeah, definitely by country mile.
And if anything, I think this sticks out with another one, which is, I think I've just seen it advertised for 4K, which is coming to America.
Oh God, yeah, I watched that the other week as well. It was on Channel 4.
Oh, was it?
Or an E4, one or the other.
And I think that one overtakes The Golden Child for me.
Yeah, because The Golden Child's fantastic. I've got that on DVD, but I don't think they've ever done it on Blu-ray, have they?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I'd like to probably have I wouldn't mind a sort of a Blu-ray collection, but I know that Coming to America is coming to 4K.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, we got Coming to America 2, which is coming out at Christmas.
I always just remember that bit where that woman comes up through the water, topless, and says, "The royal penis is clean, Your Majesty."
Yeah, the bit that was edited when it was shown on ITV back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, because even then, because I think actually I would put, well, it's a bit difficult to put even where you had to put Trading Places as well on top of it. I mean,
yeah, I don't think Trading Places is as good as Coming to America or The Golden Child, personally. But I think
it's close. It's close.
It's close, but I don't think it's quite there. I mean, Coming to America is really, really funny film. If anything, it's got a lot of outstanding. It's got a load of outstanding laughing moments, and also fantastic makeup as well. Because the old Jewish guy is Eddie Murphy. I think Eddie Murphy plays about 3 or 4 roles in that film. Yeah, he does. He is brilliant. I think he even plays the priest. The priest at the church. When he's doing sort of a James Brown. No, that's the other guy who does that. I think who did that one, but I forgot what his name is. But his the other guy who stars in it with him. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm sure it was. But he played the old Jewish man. Well, he played everyone in The Barbers, didn't he? He played 3. Well, no, the 2 of them did. The 2 of them played most of the characters. Yeah, no, what I'm saying, Eddie Murphy played all 3 characters that are in The Barber Shop. There's 3 in The Barber Shop. I think he played all 3 of those. I thought he played 2 of them. I might be wrong. I'm not sure. He played the white man. Yeah. And the guy doing the cut of the hair. He's always talking about Rocky Marciano and all that. Yeah. But yeah, no, the idea of having a chain of restaurants which wasn't McDonald's, but it was quite close as well. McDowell's. Yeah, which is very, very clever idea to put that in there. Yeah. They have the golden arches, we have the golden arts. Yeah. And then there's one part of the film which it really just warms my heart a bit, is that when he's taking his daughter out for a meal and they're walking by the river, and there's 2 tramps sitting there, and he gives them a load of pocket change, which is a big wedge of money. Yeah, and it's them off Trading Places. It's Duke and Duke.
of Trading Place. We're back, sort of thing. And I think, they never.
Mortimer, we're back.
But they never did sequels to it. Well, considering that Beverly Hills Cop had 3 sequels.
Yeah.
Trading Places never had one, and nor did Coming to America until now. This is long.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they're going to do a sequel to Coming to America.
Yeah, and say the Gold Child never had one. I mean, if there's one outstanding moment in that, it's to do with toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. If anyone doesn't know what's he on about, go and watch it. You'll see what I mean. She was gorgeous in that.
Mm.
So, but Eddie Murphy's done a lot. He's done a few. Actually, for me, he went so high up on the bar for me. He then went the other way and went down again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think after Beverly Hills Cop 2, that's kind of like seemed to be where everything kind of went south, wasn't it?
I'm not sure which order they came in, but I think when he did the remake of Jerry Lewis's Nutty Professor, which wasn't bad, it was all right.
It was all right.
But after that, with Daddy Daycare and Dave and whatever else came out, and he did. Well, I think he actually did one with Richard Pryor. Didn't he do that gangster one as well? I won't be able to remember it now, but he did I'm sure he did one with Richard Pryor where they were sort of gangster time or something. Or was that?
Oh, I know, Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights.
Yeah.
Which wasn't great. I did go to the cinema to see it, like we all did. I think with Eddie Murphy, and you would go to the cinema to see it,
Yeah, I mean, the Nutty Professor, that was okay. I didn't mind it. I thought 2 was a bit rubbish and
a bit annoying.
What was it? Was it the Flumps or something?
I know what you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like the sequel to that. I liked the one that he did 1,000 Words. That was a good movie. Vampire in Brooklyn was a bit.
Yeah.
Bowfinger, I think that was a bit of a letdown considering it had Steve Martin in as well. I think that was not as good as it should have been.
Yeah.
There was also The Adventures of Pluto Nash, which wasn't very good either.
No. Well, I tell you something. To what he did get famous for was for doing voiceovers, because he was Donkey in Shrek, which that actually worked. I mean, I don't know about Shrek the Third, but I did enjoy the first one, must admit. And all the kids enjoyed it. But he's just done some stuff. I mean, it's just a cash cow, I think, to a certain degree, isn't it?
Yeah, and he did that film with Owen Wilson, I Spy.
Oh, actually, I tell you when he was in, it was really good, and I quite enjoyed it. It's where they're going to rob a bank. Oh God,
Heist or something.
Was it called Heist? Because didn't they have their insurance taken away from them? Insurance money. So they were gonna rob a bank. Now, don't get this confused with the one that had Michael Caine in it.
No.
But this had who was the guy in Zoolander? Off the top of my head, I can't think his name now.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller, because Ben Stiller was in it as well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have a look now because I'm just trying to remember what it was, and that wasn't a bad film, to be honest. Excuse me, if I can find out quickly what it was, because Ben Stiller's done too much stuff. He's done 126 movies.
It was Tower Heist.
That's it, yeah. Well worth a watch.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy's quite good in that, to be honest. He's a bit of a rough and ready character.
He is. I must admit, I didn't mind him in Dr. Dolittle either. Not 2, just the first one, as a sort of like reboot to that kind of thing. Did you see that?
I don't know if I have, to be honest. When did that come out?
Dr. Dolittle, 98.
I'm just going to scroll down because I've got it open. Oh, I think I may have seen it. I think the kids liked it. I think it was all right for the kids.
Yeah.
But he was in Mulan as well, and that did very well.
See, I've never seen Mulan.
That was a cartoon. Again, that was a Disney cartoon, and he was playing. He had a voice for it. But yeah, no, I think if you want to go back to his early stuff, you really, it was. I think of course he was in a Michael Jackson video as well, playing a pharaoh in the Michael Jackson song "Remember the Time." You might not remember seeing these, but I did. But yeah, he played a pharaoh in that.
I can't remember that.
Yeah. If you Google if you watch the video for it. Which isn't bad. But yeah, all his early stuff is where it all counts. Even 48 Hours, which was his first movie, is fantastic with Nick Nolte. That's well worth a watch. And Best Defense with, what's his name, with Dudley Moore.
Right.
And Kate Capshaw was in that as well.
It was Norbit, that one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that I wasn't too keen on that.
No, I didn't like that either. I thought that was pretty poor.
Yeah, that's what I think after... So looking at it, even though the Vampire in Brooklyn I didn't really like it. I think Night Professor was probably the last one I probably saw for a while. I did watch Dave. I think was it called Dave, where he was a robot in a robot.
Yeah,
but that was like, that was called Meet Dave.
It was called Meet Dave.
Meet Dave, yeah. I wasn't really keen on that at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I think by about 95, his career was on the downward spiral. It was certainly the 80s was where all of his main stuff was.
Yeah.
Which is a tremendously long time ago now. I mean, I Spy, I kind of enjoyed that one, but I know that a lot of people didn't. But and then he kind of like had a bit of a comeback with Shrek, but that was just doing voiceovers.
And that worked, though. I mean, he was quite good. I did enjoy Shrek, I must admit. Yeah. I think Shrek 2 was okay. I think kids love that as well. Yeah,
I think his career's been really up and down. Since the 80s, really. The end of the 80s. Yeah. The Nutty Professor was average at best.
It was all right. I mean, to be honest, it's not as good as the original. No. Jerry Lewis is fantastic in that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know who he is, but you can Google him. He was a good actor, comedian. He always played second fiddle to Dean Martin and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's 20 to 10. We better keep going, I think.
Yeah. Well, the other series that I've been watching as well is Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
One of your favourites?
Season 1. Yeah. I've gone back. I've picked up the Blu-ray for it. Started it from the beginning. It's amazing how much characters have come on over the time. And seen some characters who were being killed off as well as main characters in the first season. But what I do like about the Blu-ray set is that they actually keep track of where you are in the season, so you can create a record, and once you've watched an episode, it ticks it off and takes you to the next one. And if you get to the end of the disc, you just swap the discs and it continues, so you don't have to go through all of the other sort of stuff. So it's great for binge watching. But I've got seasons 1 to 5 to watch on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
So they've all been on offer over the last few months on buy 2 for £15, which it's several discs worth of entertainment for £7.50. Why not?
Well, that's quite good, isn't it? It's not bad at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah. So you've been watching The Invisible Man?
Yeah, I'm going to say now, I'm not going to spoil it, because I say this was to come out in the cinemas about the 28th of Feb, end of Feb.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously COVID kicked, I think, did COVID kick in March? Was it really that long ago?
It was 21st of March, was lockdown.
So this didn't really get much of a cinema release, but what happened is when COVID kicked in, it went to video on demand. So, for example, you can still go now. If you go to Prime Video, you can pay £3.49 to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's £3.49 well spent. So what we have here, we have got Cecilia. The movie starts basically that she's trying to escape her husband, and she's actually drugged him, and she's trying to get a bag together and try and get out of the house. We find out the reasons being this is because he's been abusing her and controlling her, and her life's been an absolute mess with it, and she couldn't take any more with that. So she's out of the house now. So what happens? She gets a letter where she's staying, and apparently her husband takes his own life, kills himself, and she even gets to see the photographs. But strange things start to happen where she's living. And, for example, the gas would turn up on its own.
Mm-hmm.
There would be things would move around the house. And she's either going crazy, you think, or, in fact, there is really an invisible man. And she's trying to explain to everyone what's going on about this. And no one believes her. And, yeah, it's a really, really, really good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not, I wouldn't class this as a horror as such.
Well, thriller.
It is, and it says horror, mystery, sci-fi on in the movie database, but they like to mix up a bit. But it's such a good film, and you don't know whether you're wondering whether you're wondering whether she's mad. So what we see is happening is what no one else sees, or you're starting to think, now why is this happening? What's going on? But honestly, she's a good actress. She really plays it well. There's someone else there. What was his name? James Lanier, who plays alongside her. He's a really good. He's got a daughter, and she's staying around their place. But Yeah, it's a different take for a Miserable Man movie that I've ever seen, and yeah, it's 2 hours 4 minutes long, but that flies by.
Yeah,
I would, even for you. I know you're not horror, but it's not really horror anyway. I wouldn't cast it as that. It's more of a thriller / sci-fi, really, to be honest.
Yeah, it's on my radar to watch.
Yeah. But honestly, I sat and watched it with the missus, and she loved it as well. So yeah, I think at the moment there's a few films that are now coming in the cinema. I think we're going to end up with more video on demand coming up, because I think I've heard rumours that Wonder Woman 1984 is being put back. So again, that was supposed to be coming out end of the year.
It's only 26 years late, so I won't worry.
Yeah.
Sorry, 36 years late, not 26.
Get it right. Get it right.
Don't work with 26.
No. But yeah, we'll see how it goes with the cinema. But honestly, go and watch The Invisible Man. I hand on heart, just recommend it as a great movie to watch.
Yeah.
Because your mind's working to see what you don't know, if she's mad or if it's really happening. You've got to you're trying to work that out as the film progresses, and it's just superb.
Yeah.
But then don't Google it. Don't look at pictures on the Internet Movie Database, because it will spoil it. Just because I've not seen anything. I knew the poster. That's as much as I'd known, and watched it without even any sort of research into it. I thought, we're going to sit and watch this tonight, and glad I did. But then when I look back on the Internet Movie Database, for example, images, it will spoil it. So just don't go there.
Right. Okay. Well, I can't really say that I ever really look at Internet Movie Database that much for that sort of stuff anyway, so I'll be all right.
No, but some people might just, type it in to get a review or something, and then some pictures might come up, and it might be from there or somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really good. They rate it as R. Excuse me, in America. So yeah, it's superb. I loved it. Really did. It's the sort of thing I actually could sit, because my stepdaughter and her husband to be, shall I say, haven't seen it yet. I'll probably sit down and watch it if they want to watch it. I'll watch it again. Sure. So it's that sort of thing I could watch a second time. Anyway, should we move on?
Good. Yeah, let's move on. So we'll go on to our listener questions. Right, so listener questions. We won't do the poll because we've already talked about the poll earlier on when we talked about the new Xbox Series S. So we'll go straight into Mark's question, and Mark's asking, how much do games available affect gamers' purchase decisions when it comes to next-gen consoles, or is it about being familiar and comfortable with how a system works? I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
I also think it's how much of a game library have you got, and whether or not you look back at games or whether or not you only look forward.
Well, we all look back still, though, don't we?
Well, not everybody. There are one or two people who don't.
Yeah, I think just dipping back occasionally to see what's something, because obviously with a new machine that's going to be much more powerful, some of those games that you have played are going to look a bit more better anyway.
Yeah.
That's on the enhanced list, for example. So you might want to dig them out and have a little look at that. But yeah, interesting.
So what's your view then?
My decision to purchase a new console is, I suppose it's more to do with the games, because I'm only going to be playing Destiny, aren't I?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. What about yourself?
I think for me, and I know it's not an exclusive, but I would say Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which effectively would answer for both systems, so we're going on to question 2, aren't we?
Well, no, that's right. They are linked together anyway.
Yeah, they are. So, because the second question is, what will be your standout launch title for the Series X PS5?
I was hoping to have Halo for that, but it's not going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But I would say Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be the standout game. There's also Beyond Light as well, which would be interesting to see how that works.
Destiny 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also it'd be really interesting. I'm quite liking the idea of, because I've been thinking about going back to this game, but it was announced by CD Projekt Red that The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will be updated to the next gen quality with everything that entails as well. So if you already own it, you'll get it for free as an update. So I think that's going to actually be a bit of a standout game. Being able to play that at 4K to, 60 frames a second.
Mm.
But I don't think that. I think it's more complicated whether or not it's games that for the consoles or whether or not it's the feel of it. I think it's more in depth than that, because I think it's to do with what games are available on the system, what games that you like playing on the system, your friends who are on the system. I think it's about what games that you've got that maybe are going to be going forward, which is a new thing really for this generation.
Well, I think the enhanced games that are going to get maybe another patch, maybe they're like, I can't remember did they say Forza, the last Forza I've been playing was going to get another patch for this?
I don't know. I haven't read anything about Forza 7 upgrade.
Yeah,
and it should be Forza 8 this time, shouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's in development, isn't it?
Mm.
So who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, we might hear about another launch title. I don't know yet. I mean, we've still got a little way off.
Well, it's always possible.
Yeah,
they might both be holding something back. Maybe, who knows? Microsoft turns around and says, "Here's that Scalebound game that we were looking at for the Xbox One."
I don't think so. More likely to say, "Here is Microsoft Flight Simulator."
Yeah, true.
That would be nice.
That Scalebound looked quite cool, though.
Yeah, that fell by the wayside pretty quickly, didn't it?
It did, unfortunately. I'd like to see that come back, but there we go. Do you want to do Jason then?
Well, I might as well, because you just did number 2 as well, didn't you? So
I did, yeah.
So, Jason, with the console war slowly ramping up, it's got me thinking, if I could resurrect a former console manufacturer with a brand new system, who would you go with? I was born with the demise of things like the Atari and the Amstrad, so I got no nostalgia for either brand. I'd love to see Sega make a return to the console market.
Okay.
Although I'm sure that Microsoft aren't they going to have a link with Sega now? Apparently.
Well,
Didn't I read that somewhere?
The Series X is going to be released as a Sega console over in Japan because Microsoft doesn't sell over there, evidently.
No, but there was something to do. Microsoft were talking to Sega about something. I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Was it? Or were they going to buy Sega or something? I can't remember.
No, they're just going to rebrand the Xbox, supposedly. That was what was being reported, but I've not seen any more. No, that was reported in several websites, and it wasn't on April the 1st either.
Mm.
But there's been nothing since then about that, so whether or not it was an idea that quickly fell by the wayside or what, I don't know. But it was an interesting notion.
Well,
to get around, that Japanese, we only buy Japanese.
Yeah, I just quickly Googled it because, as I said, the Tokyo Game Show is coming up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And it says here that Sega and Microsoft are to unveil a new partnership at the Tokyo Game Show, which will bring a number of Sega games exclusively to the Xbox.
There you go.
So that could be a thing.
It could be. It could well be. So you'd go for Sega, would you? Did you say?
I mean, I did have the early Sega kit as much as I did have did I have the Amstrad? I had an Amstrad as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think Amstrad is a thing anymore. We got the retro games that come back in one shape or form via the Atari and Amstrad of what was out at the time.
Mm.
I mean, the thing is, we've had all these little mini consoles come out, haven't we, as well?
Yeah, we have.
So they've all sort of come out to a certain degree. I mean, the only one I suppose that a lot of people have a love for, which I didn't really have one, was a Dreamcast.
I had a Dreamcast, fantastic console.
And that was one of a kind, really, wasn't it? 'Cause it was. That was only that one.
And that was really the first one that did proper online gaming as well.
Mm.
As a built-in thing, because you could, connect that way. And it run on Windows CE as well in the background. That was quite weird.
Was it? Oh, okay.
And they had the memory cards for it that plugged into the controller, had little LCD screens on, and you had to put batteries in them.
Crazy.
It was very sort of. I think you could even get like Tamagotchi kind of like games on them as well that link to your memory, to your game as well on one or two things. And I remember I had a fishing rod, controller for it for Sega Bass Fishing, which you've never heard. Oh, it was so funny because you'd be going along and then suddenly it'd be saying fish. Like that, really excited sort of thing. And you think, what? It's a fishing game. I thought you weren't supposed to shout and stuff like that, but the fishing rod controller was actually really cool. And then he obviously had Time Crisis with the guns, which was really good. And House of the Dead. So there's a lot of classic ones, from Sega. But also, and it's coming back evidently as well, there is the Atari console. Sorry, the Atari console. Have you seen about that?
Well, we had something come out, didn't we? Quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Was it the Jaguar? Was it the Jaguar?
No. This is a brand new Atari console.
Oh, okay.
What the games are going to be like or whatever, I don't know. And it's quite expensive. It's like up to next gen sort of cost. But I'd be quite intrigued to see what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
But if I had to go back to any sort of like gaming system to relaunch or to relive, I'd say Commodore. Get something new from Commodore because,
they wouldn't be on cassettes anymore, though, would they?
No, obviously not. They'd be on DATs. Digital audio tape. But no, I would love to see like a new Amiga, as it were. That'd be quite cool. Or the next gen CD32, which was a console version of it. So I've got a lot of good memories about playing Defender of the Crown and games like that. The old Cinemaware ones on that console. Yeah, good days. Okay, let's go to Craig Cole. So Craig said, back in the day, what was your gaming magazine of choice, and what's the best magazine ever? If you answer isn't Crash, you're wrong. Well, I hate to tell you, if you were a 64 owner, Crash didn't do it for you. You would go for Zap 64, which is my gaming magazine choice.
God, I'm trying to think what ones I was using then back in the day. Obviously, when the Xbox came out, we had that, so the Xbox magazine. But pre that, we're talking, 1980s or...
Yeah, probably.
When was the PlayStation came out?
96.
Let's go 90s then. God. Because there was Games Master. That was one I remember.
Yes.
But I'm trying to think. I'm just having a look at old retro magazines online here. So there was Electric Gaming Monthly. I did see that occasionally, but that was more for PC. And how did I pick up because I remember one of the magazines I picked up, if I was like playing Sonic, in the back would be like the cheat pages, and they show how to all the levels to get through them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what they were.
I remember buying magazines just for like getting the cheats or the walkthroughs or whatever for games that stuck on.
I can't remember for the life of me what one I used to get. Obviously when it was Xbox that came out with the Xbox magazine, but was it Game Pro? I don't think it was. I can't remember. I'm just looking on Pinterest, but I can't see the one I used to get. Unless it was video games. It might have been video games and computer entertainment. Because that was more of I think that might have been what do you call it? That sort of multi-purpose one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I do remember, with the Amstrad and that. I do remember buying a magazine then, which would give you like free demos on the old discs.
Oh God, yeah, I remember getting the old discs.
Which would have been floppies then, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So God, that might have been an Amstrad magazine though. It might have been. I can't. There's too many that came out. Obviously, the PlayStation official magazine used to pick that one up. Gaming Computer World probably. There's one called what was that one there? Games Master, Sega Visions. I'm not sure if I remember that one.
Commodore format. Used to read that.
Yeah.
I never read Crash, but the 64 version was Zap 64. It was the opposite side. It was a 64 version of of Crash.
I think I used to get PC format back in the day, especially for Amstrad and all that. I think they had stuff for that. Sega Power might have been one, actually, looking at the cover to it.
Games Master.
Yeah, Games Master I remember getting for sure. But nowadays we don't pick them up anymore, do we?
Well, do you know what? A couple of weeks ago, one of my son's friends got run over on his bike on a hit. Yeah. Fortunately, he was okay, apart from badly scratched and his bike written off.
Okay, so he was all right.
Yeah, he survived. But we went to W.H. Smith's to find a computer game magazine for him, just to give him a little present because he was sort of laid up, as it were. And it was really hard to find an appropriate, a magazine for him. Yeah. I mean, there used to be official UK PlayStation magazine, didn't there?
Yeah, I used to pick that one up for sure.
Yeah, PC Format used to do that. PC Gamer.
I think PC Format would share all sorts. So, but there was an Amiga magazine, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
So I used to play my Microprose games.
Yeah.
Was it on the Amiga? No, it was the Atari. I had the Atari ST, and on there I'd play Cannon Fodder and Microprose Formula One, Microprose Golf, stuff like that.
Yeah, Amiga Format. Amiga format, though, you always used to get that 3.5-inch floppy on the front.
Yeah, with all the demos in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please?
Yep. Is it me? Oh, it's me, isn't it? Yeah. What's your opinion? Oh, sorry, yeah. What's your opinion on all these remakes, remasters, and reboots of games for these days? Good way to introduce new generations of old games, or just studios being lazy and to cash in on an old IP? It's probably a bit of both, really, isn't it?
I think just look at what happened at the end of the last generation. This is a mirror. I think if you don't remember it, you've got a short-term memory loss, a long mid-term memory loss, because this, remakes and remasters, we were inundated with them when we got the new, the next gen of stuff being updated. So it's just part of life. Personally, if a game's been redone and it's been redone well, I quite like it. So, for example, we didn't talk about the Ubisoft Forward, but one of the things that was on there was about Prince of Persia remake or remaster, whatever it was.
I didn't see that being advertised, but I've seen a screenshot of it for the cover.
Yeah, and it's like, for example, for me, the Saints Row the Third remaster was quite good, although it didn't really, the game's just higher visuals. What I like is when they do something more like Final Fantasy, where they take the original game and then shake it up an awful lot and come out with something completely different. But it's familiar, but it's not familiar.
Well, yeah, because that Final Fantasy was so old, wasn't it? It was, and the way the mechanics of the game worked, it is completely different, isn't it, from that point of view?
Yeah, but for me, I think if it's just a quick, higher textures and not
when it's built from the ground up,
polygram, it's got to be built from the ground up.
The same way as it did for Resident Evil 2 and Nemesis.
Yeah,
and then also some guys hadn't seen those original games. Which would have been on the PlayStation 1.
And plus the fact, I think when you get a remake like those ones, because they are remakes, they're not remasters, they're remakes, that brings that game right up to modern specs.
Well, it's another level, isn't it? Because they did remaster it, anyway, the original game, and you can buy that for about £7 if you want it.
Buy it on the GameCube.
It's even on Game Pass, I think, to be honest. Because I've got it. I think I've got it on the PlayStation, the remaster.
Yeah.
But it's still the original game. But when you see stuff like this, and obviously with Resident Evil, I mean, we're going to have a new one of those coming out. I mean, they look creepy as hell. That's fine. That's why, to be honest, you know what? I wouldn't mind it. I keep saying this, and I'd love to see a Mass Effect reboot for starters.
That's supposed to be coming. There was some stories about. I think it was a Spanish version of Amazon or something had leaked the price of the trilogy.
That's right, and also BioShock. Where I've heard there's going to be another BioShock. Now, whether that's a reboot or another game,
well, it'd have to be another game because they've done a reboot of it.
Well, I'm on about just restart the franchise.
Sorry.
From the ground up.
Yeah,
but those are two fantastic games that they could do with it.
Yeah, definitely. As long as they don't make it like Andromeda.
So, I'd love to go back to it, but I'm frightened to be honest. I really don't want to. I didn't give it enough time.
It was when we started having the puzzles. I just looked and I thought, I like playing puzzle games. I don't want to play it in a Mass Effect game.
No. I don't mind the way it works with stuff like Tomb Raider. That's different.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to do some of those. Some of those tombs you can go back to later.
Yeah. No, these were like the number puzzles.
I know. I do remember. Yeah, that reminds me now. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was what stopped me playing that game. Because I got over the, not so good facial animations and stuff like that, and making everybody look like they've had Botox to within an inch of their life. So, okay. We'll move on to Dave Rivet. So he says, I miss Destiny a lot. I've not been involved in the current season at all. Tell me why I was wrong to duck out. For what reason should I get hyped and pre-order the new season for later this year? Well, I would say, Dave, you're on PC, aren't you? I was going to say if you're on Xbox.
I was going to say
pre-order.
That was
just
my
get
first.
It on the Game Pass.
Well, no, isn't. But if it's on PC, surely that's on Game Pass anyway.
Well, I'm not so sure because Destiny 2 is only currently available on Steam. So unless Microsoft are going to put it on.
Well, no, hold on. Let's rephrase that. Destiny is free to play at the moment on the Xbox.
Yeah, sorry, I mean PC version.
Yeah.
PC version. It's only available on Steam.
PC version and the Xbox version are both free to play at the moment.
On Game Pass?
Destiny
2 Vanilla, is free to play on Steam.
Yeah,
not and Game. So sure.
It's free to play on the Xbox because I think some people I knew did it and they said, where do I go with it?
Yeah, but that's for all that's just for
early stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't think. Let me have a look on Game Pass.
But obviously, Destiny is coming to Game Pass, as if for Beyond Light.
Destiny 2 is not available on Game Pass for PC.
No, but it will. No, isn't it?
No.
I'm wondering if it will be when Beyond Light comes out.
Well, why would it be then?
Because it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, I know it's coming to Game Pass for Xbox, but it doesn't mean it's for PC.
We see the Game Pass. You can play the Game Pass on the PC and the Xbox, can't you? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so why not? Would it not be there?
Well, it's not. Why is it not in there at the moment? Because it's
because I think it's still a free-to-play game on the other format, isn't it?
But I thought all of the DLC was available now on Game Pass.
No, I don't think so. It's Destiny 2 is coming to Game Pass. It's not yet. I don't think. If I type it in, if I go to my app for Xbox, go to Game Pass. Okay.
I have to admit, I've not looked, but...
So I'm just going to go in the app now. If I go to console, because Cloud's on there now, by the way, and do a search for Destiny 2.
Destiny doesn't show up.
No research, no result. No, it won't till Beyond Light comes out.
It'll be interesting to see if we actually get the PC version on Game Pass.
But as I say, depending on where you are with it, obviously he's been playing it on PC at some point.
Yeah.
But then fell away on the last season.
Yeah. But let's get back to his question. So he said he's fallen away from it. Why was he wrong to duck out of the current season? And why should he be hyped for the new? I'm going to leave this to you because you're the one who's still playing this game. I'm not at the moment.
You see, I think you could miss this season at the minute because you haven't got long left, have we?
No.
And obviously with the sunsetting of certain weapons and planets disappearing, it might be just as well to come back with Beyond Light, to be honest, I think. It's too late in the day now because it's November 10th, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it's the same time as the Xbox coming out, roughly.
Oh,
sure, it's on the same day. But yeah, so I would wait for the next expansion. Why should we get hyped for that, should we say? Well, we've got another subclass kicking in with that. There's going to be, I mean, if you go on the Budgie website, I mean, I can't remember everything now off the top of my head. But if you look at their list of what's changing between now and then, everything's getting a complete revamp. So this is going to really feel like a new game, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to say, effectively speaking, it's like Destiny 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Destiny 3 is never going to be a thing at the minute. I think they're just going to carry on this sort of model.
Well, there's the story.
Because you remember
Microsoft are looking to buy them.
Yeah, that was that's sort of it's a rumor, but. If you remember, Bungie have got the map now for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So if you go into the Bungie website and you look into there, you're going to see how this progression is going to take on from Beyond Light. They've even got some names already penciled in for the next expansions later in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly. We did look at them at the time. This is some time ago now. But I'd also just check out a few YouTube videos about Beyond Light and have a look. I'm stoked for it. It looks really cool. And some of the stuff you can be able to do with your character, especially with this new sort of path you're going to take, like on the dark side. Does look very interesting. You're going to be able to freeze these characters and you can be able to slide into them and break them into bits and pieces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even freeze stuff to use as ways to get up higher and stuff like that, or whatever. There's a lot to go. There's a lot to be going on. Is your best bet would be just check the Bungie website out. But I'm stoked for it. I don't know about yourself, how much you're really looking forward to it or not.
I'm a bit. I'm looking forward to playing it, but I'm not.
You've got the ump about the planets going, but we need that refresh. The game's too big. We need a refresh. So coming back, let's say when we're going to get some of the old areas have come back with extra bits on them as well.
Mm.
And we've got the new planet in the snow.
Yeah.
And we've got the Stranger coming back. We've got Gambit's going to take a bit of a twist and turn as well. They're going to tweak that a bit.
Mm.
So there's stacks of things to look forward to. Honestly, I can't wait. That's sort of what I play when I get my new Xbox, if I can get it on day one.
I saw you played on this Xbox anyway.
Yeah, but this is an expansion, isn't it? This is.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a new season. This is a complete. We're sweeping the broom a bit within this game, and we're going to come out with something different.
Yeah. I mean, being honestly, Steve, you know when you've started to play a game too much, when the Xbox app starts measuring your playtime in years.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's just turned. Destiny was it 6 years? It's just turned recently.
Yeah.
Remember rightly? And Bungie shared how many Guardians there are on it. If you look back at their tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been playing this for 6 years.
Mm.
And I love it as much as I did the first day I played it. And that's a testament to Bungie, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Because how many games would you be playing for 6 years?
Well, I've been playing one game since 1984. It's variations and updates.
Yeah, that's. That's had a few tweaks along the way, hasn't it? And
I'm not saying it hasn't. Like I said, it's just like Destiny has along the way.
And like say, World of Warcraft has had many ups and downs as well. But yeah, to be honest, I've never thought a game would capture me the way that Destiny has done. But I didn't think I'd be playing it for 6 years on the trot. It's crazy. Anyway, let's move on. We're getting late. It's 10:20. I need to go and do some things.
Yeah. So do you want to do Scott's?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay. So Scott Kids, he says, as the orange twirl is returning, what is your most favourite chocolate? What's your most favourite chocolate bar that was limited edition only?
I can't say I've got one. I've got a favourite chocolate bar, just not necessarily one that's a limited edition.
So the orange twirl, what is returning? I need to Google that. What is the orange twirl when it's at home? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's a twirl flavoured orange, I would assume.
Yeah, but is that Cadbury's? Is that
well, it will be Cadbury's. No, it'll be Cadbury's. Cadbury's twirl. You know what twirl is? It's a flake with an outside skin that stops it crumbling.
Yeah. I mean, the most what's the advert in the 70s, I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
But I'd say I did like some of there was the Kit Kat special editions.
Yeah.
Some of them were quite nice.
The peanut butter one wasn't.
Oh, God, that was gorgeous.
It wasn't. It was disgusting.
But then again, I like Marmite chocolate. So, I mean, I'm on my own here, aren't I, with that one?
Yeah. Yeah, you are the market that they made it for.
I had my Marmite Easter egg.
Did you get that Marmite hummus?
Yes, I demolished it.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
But right now, with what I'm doing at the minute, I don't have to see you know what I want about. I'd have to see how much I'm allowed, but
yeah.
But no, it's absolutely gorgeous. But Marmite is my thing. Always has been. Always will be.
So Marmite chocolate for you then?
Oh yeah, but that is a favourite thing. I mean, I like a bit of Cadbury's, a little bit of Nestle or whatever. But Marmite chocolate is a special edition. It's a special edition. You can get the Marmite chocolate bars. You can get the chili chocolate bars. But they sort of hang around for a while and disappear and come back again, I think. Mm-hmm. But I'd say from the other point of view, I like the Kit Kat limited edition ones They did like a mint one, didn't they? They did a peanut butter one.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, the mint one was quite nice on the Kit Kats.
Mm.
Okay, so Nick Wilson has asked, so are you two interested in an Elite Controller 3 on the Xbox Series X or S? Not sure how the version 2 held up, but the rubber grips came off of my version 1, so I'm standard controller all the way.
I totally agree with him. I'm not going down that route ever again. It's too much money to waste.
Well, I've got 3 Elite controllers.
Mm.
2 Series 1 and 1 Series 2. Probably will get a Series 3, but it depends upon whether or not they put that awful rubber on it again. Because I don't know about you. They say that your fingers sweat when it's on plastic. My fingers don't sweat. It sweats when it's on that rubber stuff.
Well, that's what happened to mine. We'll say mine just came apart.
Yeah, my first one did. My first one did.
You see, I got a replacement for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It did it to the second one, so there is a fault there, but they never really addressed it. No, I don't even know whether they addressed it on the second controller, but I'm just happy to use. I could probably, if I wanted to dig it out for Forza, I'd probably still use it. It's a nice heavy controller. I've got another cable skin over the top of it at the minute, or even I could go and use my Duke controller, which I've got.
Good. Yeah,
and that's quite a good bit of fun with that. They reimagined the Duke,
yes.
didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I've got that as well. I've got one of those locked away. I haven't dug it out for a while. I like to get that out just to play Halo. Just brings back memories in.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'm using standard controllers at the moment.
Yeah, that's all I've been using. And I'm still, funny enough, I'm still using the same controller that I used when I first purchased the Xbox One X.
Right. Oh, the Scorpio edition.
Yeah, I'm still using that one, and it's working brilliantly.
Yeah, that Xbox controller, the grey one with the blue behind the sticks.
Mm.
That's the one I'm using.
You see, I do have a Bluetooth one as well, separate Bluetooth one.
Yeah.
Which I've been using for the cloud.
Mm.
So that one I do have as well. Excuse me, which isn't that old. It's probably about 6-7 months old.
Mm.
I've just got a sort of a turquoisey blue one.
Right.
Nothing special. It's just all right. The colours are right,
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, we'll see when the next controller comes out. They're not going to change much to it. There's no point mucking around with something that already works brilliantly. Keep it as it is.
Yeah, I must admit, one thing I definitely do think is, in terms of PlayStation, the best PlayStation controller is the PlayStation controller, rather than all of these, special ones. I quite like my Hori, which is the Xbox 360 or Xbox One sort of style controller, but mine's an earlier version of the one that Alan had. So it's pretty much, it doesn't have the 6-axis, it doesn't have the speaker, and it doesn't have a headphone jack.
Right.
So to me, it's what I've found is anything that's not a PlayStation official controller produced by Sony has something missing, whether or not it's the little speaker or whatever, and I don't want that. And the controller, the controller that I use at the moment is the 25th anniversary blue one. The dark see-through blue.
Yeah.
Controller, that one, and it's the best one. That's my go-to choice one.
Interesting.
Mm.
I mean, I just got one PlayStation controller, the one that come with the Pro. So, but they're all right for what they are. I don't think still a very light controller.
Yes, yeah. I must admit, in order to make my Xbox One controllers heavier, I managed to pick up a load of chat pads.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm going to miss on the next gen is that chat pad, because I actually do use it.
Mm. Don't blame me. Look at that picture you're just seeing now, yeah?
Yes, you've got Football Manager working on your PC.
Class. I will play that later. Anyway, how many questions have we got left?
One more from Nick Wilson.
So, what do you think about Nintendo doing the Disney model for games? Mario 3D All-Stars is also available to buy until March 31st, 2021, physical and digital. I'm not a Nintendo man, personally.
No, but do you have an opinion on having that sort of move?
I don't like Disney either at the minute. Well, no, sorry. I don't mind Nintendo. I think they're a bit pricey in how they do their games, but that's just what it is, They're quite a solid company as they are. So I don't know too much about the way they're going with the Disney model. Is that because they're going down a subscription route, or
no? What they're doing is they're only producing the games and making them available for like 6 months, which you've done for Mario 3D All Stars, which has got like Mario Sunshine, Mario 64, and I think Mario Kart 64 or something on the cartridge. So it's like a limited run, as it were, of the conversion of the game.
Yeah.
I personally think it's just a gimmick to make sure that people buy it for Christmas, and to also make sure that the price remains artificially high in the future.
Right.
By, saying it's a limited run, they'll still sell millions of the copies of it, and they'll sell more quickly because they've said it's a limited run. So I just think it's a bit of a marketing PR sort of stunt. Because my son, he came downstairs the other day and said, "Dad, for Christmas, can I have this?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." I said, "I'll order it later on before Christmas." And then he said, "Oh no, it's a limited run, blah, blah, blah," which is when I looked into it. So I've got mine on back order for before Christmas for my son. So I might get it digital for myself.
Yeah.
Get it beforehand and play it in front of him and say, "Oh, no, Santa Claus is bringing yours." To which he'll tell me he doesn't believe in Santa Claus because he's 13.
You do want that, don't you?
You what? You do?
You want him to believe in Santa Claus?
Yeah. I think he's... I think he now pretty much knows Santa Claus doesn't exist, but when you kind of like say he's more asking me than telling me Santa Claus doesn't exist. That sort of like sound in his voice, kind of thing. Because he always used to, because if he found stuff, we used to say, well, what we do is we send Santa Claus the presents, and then he brings them back at Christmas. Yeah. After wrapping them and stuff like that. And then he used to say, well, if Santa Claus will bring anything, why doesn't he bring everything I want? I said, because Santa Claus has a budget for every child. So we ended up having to get these more and more convoluted and complicated explanations of how Santa Claus economy worked. So,
I don't know.
But if for any kids listening out there, he does exist. And what parents do is they send the stuff there, and then they get sent back. So don't worry, Santa Claus exists. Don't want to get in trouble from any parents. Santa Claus exists. He's a good dude.
I don't know what to say. No comment.
No, you've got to say he exists. He exists.
Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, it's just my son doesn't believe in him, so he won't be getting as many presents from Santa Claus. Anyhow, that's it for this week, I think. Unless you've got anything else you want to add?
No, not really. I'm just scrolling through these settings on this game while we're doing this.
Yeah, as you can tell, we've lost Steve because he's actually got Football Manager installed on his PC. So, come on, Steve, give everybody your normal things.
On PC, it's Steve0764. Sorry, it's funny.
Have you just sent me a friend's request, by the way?
I haven't done that. Can you search for me on Epic?
I'm not on Epic at the moment. Just send. Okay. Look, you can. It's dead
I know what you are.
Yeah, Pop Culture Gamers on Epic.
Yeah. Oh, that's quick. I can do my appearance of my manager. Hey, okay, cool. At Steve07 on the Xbox, and it's the same. It's the same. Is it the same? It's the real Steve07. I'm sorry, I'm so lost now.
Steve, come off Football Manager and look at the Word document.
That's the other monitor. Sorry.
Yeah, stop looking at football.
So PSN, the real Steve07, Xbox Steve07, and Twitter at Steve07. Instagram is Steve0764, the same as Epic Games. There you go.
Okay. So for me, it's HARJ on everything apart from Epic, in which case, Steve, you can send me a friend's request on Pop Culture Gamers.
Yep.
So other than that, if you want to get in contact with the show, you can email your inquiries to podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. We have our Facebook group. We have our Facebook page. You can follow the show on Twitter @popculturegamer. And don't forget our website, popculturegamers.podbean.com. And that's it for another week. Hope you've all enjoyed the show. And it's a good night from me.
And a good night from him.
With a very long gap between because he was playing Football Manager.
No, I'm just doing my webcam now. You can do a webcam image of your managers yourself, so just turn it on. There's another story, yeah.
I give up. Good night.
Good night. I've got to take this up 1 second, right? Oh, my tooth is a real pain in the ass.